Now let's take a look at that Colorado defense. Senior Fred Jones.
Hueneme Vikings. Tonight's game is sponsored in part by Toddy Chevrolet. It's not Toady, it's Toddy, where we make buying or leasing easy. By Stewart Title, the leading Ventura County provider of escrow and title services. By Crown Dodge, where customers' satisfaction is our #1 priority. And by Amici Pizza, for delicious pizza and pasta at a great price. Stop by Amici Pizza and Pasta at 1929 South Patterson Road in Oxnard. Along with the entire Jones crew, my name is Tom West, standing alongside. We've got the doctor in the house, Jerry Guerin. We've got analyst supreme Dave Wheeler. And we have the general, our floor manager, Joe Beltran, alongside me on my left. About ready to get it going here, Dave Wheeler. This is Hawthorne, tremendous team in terms of tradition. The Cougars will kick it away to Hueneme, and I would venture to say that there's probably nobody happier to be home than Larry Miller and staff and the rest of that Hueneme Viking ball club back in town for the first time. Taylor will pick that up. That's Dwayne Taylor down the right sideline with plenty of speed. He could score midfield 45-40. He's going to score a touchdown. No flags down. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Hueneme. No flags.
What a great way to start this game off, Tommy. You saw Taylor just kind of bobble the ball a little bit back there as he went to pick it up. Dwayne Taylor had some problems getting a handle on it. We're going to see it on the replay. And I tell you, great coverage by Hawthorne. They come down very, very strong, but then there's a little bit of a break. They don't break down. They basically run by the man. Right there you see 2 or 3 guys are in position. Nice block out there that's Julian Gooden with a great block right in front of the ball carrier. And then once he's got an alley, he's got plenty of Vikings out in front of him. And some good blocks thrown downfield. That's a great play.
How many times do you see it when you have a kickoff that's somewhat mishandled? That time Taylor having trouble getting the handle. It seems like the kick cover team will relax just a little bit, allowing that returner to get downfield. And this time, big play, 85-yard score. Magdaleno Alex with the extra point try up and through with 11:45 left to play in the opening period. Hueneme, they strike with lightning quickness. They're up 7-0 over Hawthorne. We'll be right back. Hueneme's Vikings, 85-yard return of the kick for the touchdown. The opening kickoff, 15 seconds into this ball game, Hueneme already on top. In fact, we'll call that a 90-yard kickoff. Magdaleno off the right side, the short kick, fielding on the slide, right about the 40-yard line, 42-yard line. We'll check the number. Coming up to cover, in fact, that was Tolu Moala with the fine sliding catch. Left side, short of the 40-yard line at the 38. Hawthorne will take over 1st and 10, already down 7-0 to the host Hueneme Vikings. 11:44 left to play in the first.
Well, Tommy, you know as well as I do that this Hawthorne team brings a great tradition of a lot of team speed in here. So if anybody in the stands thinks that they can't score just as quickly, they're dead wrong. This should be an exciting ballgame.
High backfield set. Now they'll shift to the offset eye in the backfield. The tailback is Lamar Keebler, off play action. There's a fade route right sideline intended for Patrick, almost intercepted. Good coverage on the left side cornerback. That looks like Watkins, Eric Watkins on cover. In fact, it was number 17, the left side cornerback, working against number 1, Nathan Patrick, the fine. In that particular play, he was the flanker back, aligned to the right side of the football field, straight up the field on the fly route.
Well, these guys, I was watching them during the pregame, Tommy. They're going to throw a lot of these passes that are just timing passes like that. They're going to throw it, let the receiver run to it, and they've got the speed to do it.
Offset eye once again in the backfield, strong to the right side, split in left. Moala pitch to Keeble in the backfield. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. Big play, left side defensive end. Coming up to make the nice stop. That was Brad Gibbs. Brad Gibbs, who doubles as a tight end offensively right there on that pitch play.
Well, Brad Gibbs does a good job, Tom, of keeping his leverage out here. He beats the block, but he doesn't let the man get outside of him. And a pretty solid tackle there. He maybe should have driven his legs a little bit more, but he's got that upper body strength that enabled him to drag the man down. That's a solid play.
The junior quarterback, number 19, Eric Moala, will lead the Cougars from Hawthorne High School to the line of scrimmage. They split to the pro look in the backfield, slot to the left side. That means the tight end's right. In fact, the tight end left, they were unbalanced. They'll run the little reverse play back to the right. Big number 33 running with the football. That was Billy Mitchell, aligned as the wingback or the slot back on the left side. Eric Watkins once again with the stop for Hueneme.
besides Watkins' time, that whole defensive unit smelled that out pretty well. That actually turns out to be an unbalanced formation when they line up like that. They had tight end left with a slot and a split receiver, only 2 linemen to the right sideline side of the formation, and it just didn't fool the Vikings at all.
Courtney Barton to kick it away for the Cougars. First offensive series, not much going. That ball will bounce right about the 40 across the 35 across the 30, still rolling inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line, where it will be touched down. That was Tamar Lee back in single safety for Hueneme's Vikings. So Hueneme will take over for the first time offensively. We'll call it their 28-yard line. I guess you might say so far in this season, kind of a good news, bad news for Hueneme. They've scored 50 points, obviously after 2 games, a 25-point per game average. However, they've given up 101, 50.5 per game, but those are against 2 tremendous football teams. We'll talk more about that as the game winds along. There's that wing set to the left side. Taylor, the wing back on the left side. There's a give. Pinedo off the right side. That's Jason Austin. He's in the clear. 35, 40, 45 near midfield. Jason Austin, the fullback, off the right side for big yardage before he's brought down by Richard Burns.
And unfortunately, when he was tackled on that play, I believe Austin has a little bit of an injury situation out there. We have to wait and see. Great job on the cutback right there. And he just gets high load. Looks like maybe he got the wind knocked out of him. I'm hoping that's what it is, Tommy, because I don't see him holding any particular part of his body, and they're doing the old grab the belt and lift routine. That's a good indication that it's not anything real serious. Probably just got, he may have even fallen on the ball. He was hit from both sides like that.
I think that's an excellent call. 21 yards on the first play from scrimmage off the right side by Isaac Austin. Getting back to that situation, opening ball game, of course, Hueneme dropped that 65-30 decision to a tremendous football team, Alemany out of Mission Hills in the San Fernando Valley, a team that the coaching staff here at Hueneme says is without question in their mind in the top 10 statewide in the state of California. Last week they traveled to Florida to take on Mainland High School out of Daytona Beach in Orlando. They dropped a close 36-20 decision to that ball club, which happens to be the 5th rated team in Division 5, which is the largest school division in Florida. So great competition.
Oh, excellent competition. And I was talking to Coach Pinedo before the game started down there. He said, in his opinion, Casey Clausen might be one of the finest quarterbacks he's seen on the high school level ever. And I'd have to agree with him there.
Double wing set, fullback in the backfield. They run the counter play to Leslie Lee, back off the left side midfield 45-yard line. So a pretty good pickup of about 5 yards by the right side wing back running back to the left. That's Leslie Lee, the junior.
And not a too badly defense that time. Number 2, that was Kingsley Echimandu with an excellent job of stopping him on the play. You can see right there a lot of motion going both directions, and it's kind of hard to get a real solid read in there when you got those kind of crisscrossing motions in the backfield, but not a bad read by the defense.
It's actually Gordy Pinedo trying to give the ball to Lee, apparently missed the handoff, took it himself for the 5-yard pickup to the 45-yard line now in Hawthorne territory. There's a power eye look running off the right side. That time it's Leslie Lee out of the tailback spot. They loaded up the backfield. Kingsley Echimandu once again with the stop up front defensively for the Cougars.
Well, we noticed that they're gonna be trying to run a lot of this tonight, Tom, and I got it from the coaches before the game too. They're going with a lot of the power type of a look, and a lot of the belly. They thought that would be there. They think that the trap, the belly, and also the sweep will be their mainstays tonight. So they're planning on running the ball.
3rd and 2, Hueneme from the 42-yard line in Hawthorne territory. There's that double wing set once again. Quarterback, the sophomore, Gordy Pinedo. He turns, he'll give the ball to Taylor, running the sweep play to the right side. He's got the first down and more. 40, 35, inside the 35 to the 34. Big time run by Dwayne Taylor. He's got the first down before he's tackled. We'll check the number. That's Echimandu, I believe, once again, along with Jamario Smith as we check the replay.
And look at that big number 66 out there leading it. That's Totogi, the senior lineman, doing a great job pulling from his guard position and out there in front of the back with a good block downfield to spring him for some extra yardage.
Gordy Pinedo, the sophomore, growing very quickly as a quarterback here. 3rd game as a starter at Hueneme, of course, transferred from St. Bonaventure High School up in Ventura. There's the power eye set. They'll motion the power back to the left side. Toss sweep running the left side is Leslie Lee. Got the corner turn with some speed. 25-yard line, 20 down the sideline, 15, 10 inside the 10, inside the 5. In fact, they'll mark him down at the 15-yard line. Leslie Lee, first down Hueneme.
And Tom, this might come back. We've got a flag over here. I believe they're going to maybe call a hold or some kind of offensive penalty because they are motioning for everybody to come back. But what a great run. Excellent job of getting people out in front, too. I like the way that that particular formation and the motion man coming across set up the blocks along the way. And that's a good-looking play. They're going to have to come back to that.
There's the indication holding. We mentioned, or you mentioned actually, Dave, the offensive coordinator, Tony Pinedo, and of course Gordy Pinedo is his nephew. I got a lot of interesting history on the Pinedo family. Their father, Tony's father, Lewis, was actually the first MVP of the Tri-Valley League years ago. He's got sons, of course, Tony here, the offensive coordinator, Alan, who is Gordy's dad, Donald, who is Donald's dad. Donald, of course, playing down the road at Santa Clara. We'll talk more about that Pinedo family momentarily. First and 25 to go. Toss into the backfield to Dwayne Taylor. Nice block on the perimeter. Taylor still on his feet. Fumbles the football untouched right about the 37-yard line. Looks like he might have got back on top of that ball to maintain possession. In fact, perhaps Jason Austin there on top. But Taylor running clean, perhaps having trouble getting the handle on the football there, Dave.
Well, it's a little bit moist out here tonight. The air is very wet, and I think it just kind of slipped out of his hand right there. He's cradling it. Looked like he was carrying it pretty soundly. And they're going to have some problems with that tonight. The pigskin's going to be a little bit wet. But that time, I like the call. He comes right back to the same play where they had the penalty before. That time it was open inside. And the back saw it, read it, cut up the middle. That's great. Good job of running.
Second and 12, Hueneme from the 36-yard line. Quick hitter up the middle to Jason Austin. Breaks one tackle down to the 25-yard line. Still short of the first down. Very powerful running off the right side. Close to first down yardage. They have to get just inside the 25, we'll call it the 24. Ball spotted down, 3rd and 2 from the 26. Getting back to that Pinedo family. Lewis, of course, the father, sons, Tony, Alan, Donald, Gary. Gary's son, Lewis, is a ball boy tonight for Hueneme. And they had a daughter, Roberta, who was all-league and all-county at Santa Clara High School as a basketball player. Great athletic talent. Off the right side, first down pickup by Jason Austin, we believe. Right about the 22-yard line, they'll spot that down. Tackle on the play by Jamario Smith.
I don't know if you've noticed it already tonight, Tom, but I think that war in the trenches is being won so far by Hueneme. You've seen a lot of tackles made by the defensive backfield for Hawthorne, and they're just not going to be able to do that all night long because there's quite a size differential between the running backs from Hueneme and some of those DBs for Hawthorne.
First and 10, Hueneme's Vikings from the Hawthorne 22-yard line. Hueneme already on top, 7-0. 6:20 left to play in the opening period. Wing set to the left side, that's Dwayne Taylor. Fullback is Austin. The right side setback is Leslie Lee. He's got the ball running the sweep play to the left side. Has one player to beat. Ducks inside the block by Tatogi, it looked like on the perimeter. In fact, check that. That was big number 68, Juan Batista, leading the way for Leslie Lee. Gets ahead for about 7, perhaps 8 yards near the 15-yard line. Good run by Lee. Nice block on the perimeter.
He does a great job of riding Batista right there. He decides that Batista's not going to be able to get the seal to the outside. He's pushing his man out, so he cuts it back up inside. That's a good decision by the back.
So far, Gordy has yet to put it in the air. He was 7 of 13 passing for 127 yards of pass offense. Played a very fine football game last week in Florida, according to Coach Pinedo and Miller. Dwayne Taylor runs off the right side. He's got lots of running room. 15, 10, 5, inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. That should be first and goal, Hueneme.
And I tell you, they're just opening up some great big holes up there, Tom. You can see both guards again. There's Tatogi and Batista. Tatogi blocks out. Batista turns it up inside. Nobody there. And you've got a DB again making the tackle.
Jesse Taylor will check into the ball game. Jesse and Dwayne not related. They're related in the fact they're both playing for Hueneme's football Vikings, doing a great job. First and goal, we'll call it the 4-yard line. Wing set to the left, 2 backs in the backfield. Turn to give off the right side to Austin. He's near the goal line, still on his feet. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings.
Hawthorne's going to have to come up with some defensive answers for this running scheme because basically they're stretching out the defense along the line and doing a lot of running back to the weak side. And there's just not enough defenders over there. If you can crash them down, the defense, and seal off the linebacker scrape, the only people that are there are a cornerback and a safety if they can get over. And that's what they're having success with right now.
Alex Magdaleno out of the hole to Gordy Pinedo will try to tack on that second extra point. Lines are set. Snap is back and down. Magdaleno with the boot. And that's right through the middle of the uprights. We have a timeout with 5:05 left to play in the opening period. Look at the scoreboard shows. Hueneme 14, Hawthorne nothing. We'll be right back. Magdaleno to tee it up and kick it away to Hawthorne. One thing, Dave, we talked about a little bit. We were somewhat concerned about the trip, the effect that the trip to Florida might have on this Hueneme team in terms of jet lag, getting back, getting into the flow of things. So far, it doesn't seem to have hurt them at all.
No, they look very, very crisp here in the first two series, and they look like they got their legs. There's no doubt about that.
Magdaleno, that will angle towards Jamario Smith. Fields it at the 15, 20, 25, still on his feet, 30 down the sideline. Lots of running room, midfield and more. 45, 40, one man to beat. Tries to spin away from that last tackle try by Tamar Lee, but luckily Tamar Lee there to just trip up Jamario Smith, or he was on his way. Nonetheless, Dave, first and 10 at the 41-yard line for Hawthorne.
And great field position for them. And we mentioned early on here that this team has a lot of team speed. And you have a missed tackle right there at the point of contact. Somebody breaks down on the outside, and there's just nobody out there to catch him. Luckily, Lee comes across, hits him hard enough to knock him down, or could have been very quickly that Hawthorne would have been back in this ballgame.
Pro set look in the backfield, strong to the right side. The quarterback is Moala. We had movement in the backfield. They try to run the counter play, running back to the right side. Dropped in the backfield for a big loss. That might be Andre Gaines or perhaps Harry Vamonroff. We'll wait and see who gets up. In fact, that was Lamar Keeble, number 31. Dropped by Watkins, among others. Mark Payne was there to help out as well for the Vikings out of Hueneme.
So far, the defense for Hueneme doing a very good job, Tom, of staying in their areas, and you know, when they are moving and they're in stunts, there's no big, huge gaping holes along that front, and looking real solid along the line.
There's a quick toss to the left side to Keeble, trying to get his corner turn. Breaks one tackle, still on his feet, back near the original line of scrimmage at the 41-yard line, but nothing more than that. Excellent defensive speed on that right side. One thing, Dave, that Coach Miller talked to me about, he said, we are giving up big plays defensively. We'll hang in there for 3 plays, but invariably on 3rd and long, we give up the big kind of game-breaking type of play. So far, that's not happening. It's good news to the way they're playing so far early in this football game.
Well, they start out the season against 2 very high-powered offensive teams, and you can expect to give up some big plays, but it's nice to see that they're having success here tonight.
Slot to the right side, backfield set. Eric Moala, the junior quarterback, off play action, looking right to pass. Post break, middle of the football field intended for Patrick. Good coverage back there by Jesse Taylor, the free safety. So that was well covered. They try to run the post break, split in. Nathan Patrick running across the field from right to left, but that was excellent coverage by Taylor.
And during the pregame, Tom, I noticed that they were running some influence blocking with their line. They would do play action, actually pull the guards, and end up having a pass play out of that situation. On that particular play, no movement. They played it straight up. That might be just a good testament to the defensive play so far tonight of the Vikings.
Courtney Barton apparently to try. I think this is one of those punt type of field goal tries from the 48-yard line. This is actually a 59-yard try. They'll probably angle towards the sideline. That's exactly what they do. It actually lands fat right about the 10, inside the 10 to the 7-yard line, perhaps 8. So that's a very effective, you call that a field goal try, but I think they use that field goal setup basically to punt the ball downfield.
Yeah, that's a good observation, and it's not a bad way to go because you've got a lot better chance of having that ball nestle in somewhere around the 10 to the goal line because of the way the ball is kicked, because of the flight going over, underneath with a backspin rather than a typical punt spin.
Hueneme's second score this evening, 10-play, 72-yard drive, taking 5 minutes, 12 seconds off that first period scoreboard clock. Touchdown, 4-yard run off the right side by Jason Austin, and the key run in that drive, Dave, was the 21-yard play, 21-yard run off the right side on the initial play from scrimmage that kind of got them going.
Yeah, they've looked sharp all night long. They're using multiple people to carry the ball. They're showing a lot of looks, and I think so far it's kind of confusing this Hawthorne defense.
In the game played between these two squads in 1998, Hueneme came away with a very hard-fought 34-28 win down in Hawthorne, a game that Coach Miller said pretty much turned our season around. They had the tough opener against Alamany, but they came back later to defeat a very tough non-league schedule. Not only Hawthorne, but Muir and Atascadero. They really got going after they were able to defeat Hawthorne.
Well, Coach Miller does a great job with his preseason scheduling to try to get his people ready for league, so we'll see if it has the same type of effect here tonight.
Double wing set. Fullback is Austin behind the sophomore Gordy Pinedo. He turns, gets the ball on the counter play, running back to the left side, does Leslie Lee. He could score. Nobody there. He's going to score a touchdown. Midfield, 45-40, Leslie Lee. The junior will score. 92-yard touchdown run by Leslie Lee.
I tell you, Tom, the line blocking and the backfield action, the faking they're doing out there, Gordy Pinedo is doing a great job of directing this offense, and you can tell the defenders are running right by the ball carrier. They're not seeing the ball. They just haven't seen this type of a running offense, and what great speed. Once he gets past that initial wave, he's gone. That's a nice run.
Who would have thunk it, Dave Wheeler? 3:15 left to play in the opening period. Hueneme 20, Hawthorne nothing. Magdaleno to try the extra point. It's on its way, and once again for the third consecutive time, that's right through the middle of the upright. We're going to take a short break. Hueneme can do no wrong so far. 3:15 left to play in the first. They're up 21-0 over Hawthorne. Stay with us. Efficiency, Hueneme has scored 3 touchdowns already in the first period. 3:15 left to play. 21-0 they lead Hawthorne. Most recent score, 92-yard dash on the counter play by Leslie Lee. There's that angle kick towards the sideline. Looked like the fair catch might have been called for. That looked like Harry Vamonroff over there, number 20, with the catch. He's the starting fullback for the Cougars. So on the fair catch, Hawthorne will take over first and 10 from the 28-yard line. They have to be shell-shocked here, down 21-0 with 3:13 left to play in the first.
Well, it definitely is a momentum buster, and to have it happen this early in the game, I'm sure that's not what they were prepared for. They sounded and looked as if they were ready to play ball before this thing started.
And they're without one of their premier offensive weapons, Kerry Colbert. There's a counter dive play off the right side of Lamar Keeble. He's stacked up right about the line of scrimmage. Leading the way once again, Mark Payne playing inside linebacker for Hueneme. And Colbert probably healthy enough to play tonight, according to Coach Miller. His decision, they don't want to risk further injury. It's a tissue injury to the knee. I believe it's the left knee. But they have league season starting in a couple of weeks. They want to make sure he's 100% when they open that league season. Pacific View League play against Camarillo.
Oh, I think that's a great move. And plus, this kid's got a great college career ahead of him, and there's no reason to get him hurt seriously with a joint injury. The knee is such a delicate joint, so save him if you can.
Second and 10 off play action. Moala to pass. He's got some time looking backside post. That's incomplete. Big time contact by the free safety, Jesse Taylor. Intended receiver downfield was Damon Wilson running the crossing route on the backside post from right to left. We might have roughing the passer, penalty flag down in that Hawthorne backfield right about the 24-yard line. And we'll wait for the call.
Roughing the passer, first down.
Our referee tonight, Joe Garces. Our umpire tonight, Monty Moritz. Back judge is Darren Olson. Our head linesman, Al Terrell. And our line judge tonight, Paul Carbone. These guys do a great job officiating week in and week out. First down for Hawthorne, trailing 21-0. 2:29 left to play in the opening period. They break out offset eye in the backfield, strong to the right side to give the ball to Keeble. Trying to run off the right side on the power play, hit by Watkins, spins ahead near midfield, fumbled football, it's on the ground. Looks like that will be ruled a fumble. Jumping up to make the recovery is Steve Wan, one of the offensive line personnel. In fact, the left guard. Johnny on the spot there, I should say Steve on the spot with that fumble recovery.
And a big-time major league block out there by number 20. That's Harry Vamonroff. We've talked about him on defense, but from that fullback position, what a lead block, Tom. He just leveled somebody. I didn't catch the number for the Hueneme player, but what a great block.
And a great job by Eric Watkins tackling the football, forcing that fumble. Split back set, there's a counter dive play off the left side of Vamonroff. He's stacked up, driven backwards right about the 46-yard line, nothing doing. So that defensive front tonight so far for Hueneme playing exceptional football. Nate Scanlon leading the way defensively, and he was helped out by Juan Velez, it looked like. Or perhaps Paul DiMolanta, I believe. Third and short. We'll call it 3rd and 1. 47-yard line in Hueneme territory, down to 1:15 and counting in the first period. 21-0 Vikings. Tight slot to the left side. There's a little quarterback draw. Moala runs off the left side, close to the first down. He has to get right to that line, the 45-yard line. I think he's got it. We'll have to wait and see. Russell Henderson defensively with a stop, and Joe Garza says, yeah, go ahead and move that chain on the far side. That's a first down for the Cougars.
Well, that's first down, Tommy, but they're not getting them very easily, I'll tell you that. This defensive unit so far for Hueneme playing very well. They haven't been fooled very often tonight, and they're giving up the yards very, very stingily.
Well, as a good doctor said, last time Hueneme touched the football, one play, 92-yard drive. I guess you call that a drive. 92-yard touchdown run by Leslie Lee. Extra point for the third time, Magdaleno. 21-0, under a minute to play in the first half. There's a counter dive once again off the right side. In fact, counter key pitch to Keeble down the right sideline. 25-20, one man to beat. Nice tackle, open field variety. Left side cornerback, Eric Watkins with a nice play. That saved a touchdown. Lamar Keeble rumbling down that right sideline.
And what sold this play, Tom, was the initial fake to the fullback. Big number 6, they pull it back out. Defensive end got fooled on that, sunk down inside. And Keeble just got all day and night to run out there. And luckily, Watkins makes a great open field tackle, or that's a touchdown.
First and 10, Hawthorne from the 16-yard line in Hueneme territory. Clock runs, 15 seconds left to play in the opening period. Strong to the left side. There's a little veer give running off the left side, the outside veer. Keeble inside the 10-yard line. Near the 5-yard line, he'll be dropped. A wide veer play. We might have holding call perhaps against Hawthorne. There's a flag on the ground. We're down to 6 seconds left to play in the first period. Try to sort the penalty out. Victor Perez up to make the play for Hueneme.
And we're going to wait and see what this call is, but all of a sudden, Hawthorne getting a little bit of momentum here. Their offense is starting to churn some yards.
Flipping. Repeat first down.
So far, Hawthorne in 1999, they're 1-1. They lost their opening ball game, week number 1, 26-15 to Redondo Union High School. Last week, they played a team out of Vancouver, British Columbia, a school by the name of Handsworth. They defeated them handily, 42-7. They're running to a buzzsaw so far here at Hueneme. We have come to the end of the first period of play from Hueneme High School. Look at the scoreboard shows. Hueneme on top, 21-0 over Hawthorne. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Hi, Bob and Buster Crown for Crown Dodge. The 2000 model Caravans are here, and the 99s are on sale now with 1.9% APR financing or up to $1,250 cash back from Dodge, plus 0 down and no payments for 4 months. 99 Caravan 7-passenger, $15,999. Or this 2000 Grand Caravan V6 with power windows and locks, $20,999. Crown Dodge, 101 Freeway, Johnson Drive exit, and the Ventura Auto Center.
Some things, like rare wine, only go better with time. Jones, Channel 6, presents Timeless Classics. Now you can enjoy these classic comedies all over again.
Well, I will.
Is there any spinach in the house?
Exclusively on Jones, Channel 6.
From Hueneme High School, Hueneme 21-0, explosive big play offense, and she might say kicking game prowess too. Opening kickoff, 90-yard kickoff return by Dwayne Taylor for a touchdown. Among the 3 scores, 92-yard run by Leslie Lee. Moala having trouble in the backfield. Looks like he missed handoff. Tried to give it off to Keeble. Some confusion. Moala said, I'm not having anything to do with this. I'm going to tuck it away. Try to get some positive yardage. Got back near the line of scrimmage, but I think he's going to lose a couple of yards there, Dave.
Yeah, there's some kind of mix-up there. I think Vamanrav, number 20, was supposed to take the handoff, but just decided he didn't want to have any part of the play. And it looked like there was a little opening in the middle. So when Moala turned and looked, I think it was a real mature decision to go ahead and try to tuck it away. Unfortunately, it really collapsed very quickly.
Eric Moala, he's a junior, 6 foot, 175-pounder. His brother, a sophomore, wearing number 36, Tolu Moala, is the starting tight end for the Cougars. Split back set in the backfield, strong to the right side. Little outbreak, the out and up down the right sideline. Nice catch by Jamario Smith, short of the first down. Ball thrown behind Smith as he sprinted down the sideline. I thought that was the out and up, but the quarterback Moala actually threw it towards the first down stick.
Well, it's definitely a timing pattern. You saw a lot of this also in the pregame. They don't waste a lot of time in their passing game. They haven't thrown a lot yet tonight. They got a lot of team speed as far as their receiver core is concerned. I look for this, Tom. They go for about a 3-step drop, boom, the ball's delivered right then.
They still have about 12 yards to go for that first down. Split back set once again. Morales straight back to pass, setting up the screen play to the right side. Keeble makes a nice catch. Didn't know it's going to drop to the ground, incomplete. Ball thrown a little bit high, intended off the right side on that screen look to Lamar Keeble. Pressure up the middle. Looked like Juan Velez, number 51, with the pressure, perhaps Victor Perez. First quarter stats for Hueneme. Lee, 3 carries, 102 yards, of course. The bulk of that coming on that 92-yard dash on the counter play for the touchdown. Austin, 4 carries for 41 yards and a score. Taylor had 3 carries for 30 yards, plus a 90-yard kickoff return. Courtney Barton, apparently the field goal try. Ball is down, kick on its way. Looks pretty good from here, and it's no good, perhaps just under the crossbar. So the field goal try from 35 yards out comes up short, and Hueneme's defense doing very well so far. This is a team that had given up 101 points coming in, but admittedly to very quality football teams.
Well, they're looking pretty sharp tonight on defense. That's the best offensive series that Hawthorne's been able to mount so far, Tom. And all it resulted in was 4 and out on the last set of downs. And they got to get something going on offensively. Hawthorne does, or they're not going to be scoring much of anything here tonight.
Keeble in the first period, 7 carries for 33 yards, had the big 29-yard run, almost scored. Fine tackle by Eric Watkins, saving the touchdown. Double wing set fullback is Austin. Give the ball to Taylor, running off the right side. Nice pickup once again, near first down yardage. Across the 25, near the 30-yard line. They'll spot it down at the 28. Kingsley Ekamandu with the play defensively for the Cougars. Lots of red out there. In fact, Hawthorne somewhat reminds me of USC's road uniforms a little bit.
Well, they look very similar, or they look a little bit like Oxnard, too, down the road. And it's definitely, this could be the Nebraska-Oklahoma game for all the red that you see up in the stands and on the field.
2nd and 2 yards to go from the 28-yard line. There's that power eye look in the backfield behind the sophomore quarterback, Gordy Pinedo. The trail back in that eye is Leslie Lee. He's got the first down across the 30 near the 32 before he's brought down by Michael Thomas. Billy Mitchell also up to help on the stop for the Cougars. You know, one thing, Dave, I think it's interesting to me, Larry Miller said, you know, we want to play up. We want to play a high level of competition as we check the replay. There's Lee off the right side. Nice tackle by Billy Mitchell there to hold him up and wait for help. But they're not backing down to anybody. They want to play a high level of competition. He said we established some intensity in Florida with our play there against Mainland High School out of Daytona Beach. We want to try to build on that intensity. And basically we want to eliminate mistakes. And we have 5 or 6 plays we want to really perfect. The trap series, the belly, the sweep, and the waggle. So far they haven't had to run the waggle at all.
No, they've had too much success with the running tonight, but you can tell that their repetition in practice is very, very solid. I mean, they're just looking, the plays look very crisp, and it's very hard to tell where the ball is. A lot of times they're kind of faking us out up here, and I'm sure that's why the defense is having such a hard time.
There's Jason Austin off the right side as a penalty flag will come down. Tackle on the play by George Cooley. I don't really get a feel for what this penalty is all about. Perhaps face mask, perhaps somebody coming in late on a illegal block.
I think it is a little bit of a face
Face
mask.
mask.
And I don't know if it was
First
Cooley
down.
or Jamario Smith that they caught doing it. It looked like Smith was laying on the ground, hammering the ground, because he could see the flag come down out of the corner of his eye as he was laying there. Tough break for Hawthorne. They had a pretty good little series of defensive plays there. They keep hurting themselves with penalties. Besides the big running of Hueneme, they've hurt themselves a couple of times when they had the ball and also when Hueneme's running the ball because of penalties.
1st and 10, Vikings from the 49-yard line, now in Hawthorne territory. 9:15 left to play in the 2nd period. Power eye look once again. They'll motion Taylor across the formation from right to left. Movement up front right side. It might have been Totogi, the right side guard, perhaps. There was some premature movement. Victor Morales was there as well, but eager to get it going. And why not with the success they've had so
Dead
far
ball.
on the ground?
Ball start. Repeat first down.
With Totogi and Morales, the strong senior right side of that offensive line, other than that, pretty young and inexperienced along the offensive front. That was one of their concerns prior to the season starting for Coach Miller, and Coach Pinedo said the same thing. But it looks like so far tonight here they're having excellent play from those 5 grunts up front.
Hawthorne so far 2 penalties for 30 yards. Hueneme 3 penalties for 33 yards. Double wing set once again. Fullback Austin, Leslie Lee. He's got the ball running the sweep play to the left side. Ducks just inside that block attempt by the pulling guard. Running off the left side, that's Juan Batista, but that's good defensive play. Coming up from the corner, it looks like little number 2, Kingsley Ekamandu, playing a fine football game out of that secondary for the Cougars.
Yeah, that was just speed right there, Tommy. He was able to get underneath the blocking of the 2 big guards as they pulled, and able to kind of run in behind the play and make the play, because he was coming in behind the blocks of Totogi and Batista. And those guys, man, they're a big wall. When they turn and start going around that corner, that's side-by-side semi-trailers going through there.
Second, still about 16 yards to go from their 44-yard line. Hueneme has the ball. They have the big lead, 21-0. Goyde Pinedo changing that snap count. He's going long, off play action. There's the waggle look. Looking for that backside post. Running clean downfield is Taylor. He's got the ball in his hands, inside the 10, 5, touchdown Hueneme!
And there's where it pays off that you haven't run that all night long, you know. And this is a tough break for this Hawthorne D. They've been looking at run. They're starting to stop it, and all of a sudden they fake the run. They do a good job of selling that. The guards are pulling out there, protecting their quarterback, and all by himself downfield is Taylor. And I think this ball, had it led him a little bit better, he actually would have had a bigger separation between him and the defender, and he's still able to beat it in by a couple of yards. That's just a great play.
Well, how about this for Dwayne Taylor so far? Just scores on that 56-yard pass play. He has a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to open things here tonight. Extra point try for the 4th time is up and through off the foot of Magdaleno. So it's been a big ball game so far for Dwayne Taylor, and lots of play left to go here.
He's having a great game. This whole Viking offense is having a great game.
Hueneme 28, Hawthorne nothing. Stay with us. We'll be back with that Hueneme kickoff. On top, 28-0 over Hawthorne High School. 7:53 left to play. We're still in the second period. Magdaleno to kick it off for the 4th time. Angles that towards the sideline. The short kick fielded by Jamario Smith. In fact, that's Lamar Keeble. 25-yard line, 30-35. Nice return by Keeble. Almost lost the football there momentarily before he's brought down by Paul DeMolanta. And one thing we should probably say, you know, we talked about Hueneme being happy to be back at home, their initial home outing here in 1999. Great job by this coaching staff. Head coach Larry Miller, of course, offensive coordinator. Great play calling so far, Tony Pinedo. Defensive coordinator is Steve Henry. Lawrence Berkeley, John Dolman, Joe Knopf, Clint Strozier, Dave Lout, and Tiloy Tuitama, among others. Great coaching staff. Not only the head coach Larry Miller, but the assistants as well do a fabulous job on first down off the right side. Short pickup, perhaps 2 yards, tackled by Garrett Levette. And you got to feel that Hawthorne doesn't really know what hit him here. Down 28-0, with still 7:20 left to play in the second period.
And it's tough to get the emotional thing going here, too. I mean, all of a sudden you're down this much, and you're looking up, and there hasn't been that much time go off the clock. It's a real downer for them.
They'll go to the spread look, trying to get the ball in the air. Patrick in and out of his hands. Nathan Patrick, maybe the footstep situation. Jesse Taylor, the free safety, up in position to make the hit. Taylor had a big hit earlier in this first half, and I think anytime a defensive secondary player comes up and kind of lays the wood to a receiver, all the receivers take note of that, and they have one of the greatest hitting safeties ever to play in this county as one of their coaches, Clint Strozier, who played down the road at Oxnard.
I had to play against him. I know how good he is, and he's a guy that laid a lot of wood to a lot of people around this area.
There's a counter tray run off the left side. Lamar Keeble slips to the ground on 3rd and long. So that'll set up the punt situation once again. We would expect to see Courtney Barton in punt formation. Nice play by Victor Perez on a nice tackle. It's good to be back in Hueneme. First time back since '98. Lots of nice people here. Of course, our PA announcer, Marvin Guy, Hueneme Player of Years gone by. Great player. Good to see Taffy, the music man, Preston Haynes. That guy plays great music prior to the game at halftime. Nice young man. They're always very friendly here at Hueneme. On 4th down, snap of the football. Barton has the ball, angling that towards the right sideline. Will bounce at the 35 across the 30. He picked up right about the 28-yard line. And that's where Hueneme will take over 1st and 10. Dave Wheeler, they're up 28-0 over Hawthorne with 6:21 left to play in the second period following that 30-yard punt off the foot of Courtney Barton.
Yeah, and Hawthorne looking a little bit like Oscar De La Hoya in the late rounds here. I mean, that punt was definitely directed away from the receiving man. They don't want to have anything to do with this kicking unit for Hueneme, and they're, like you're saying, they're just stumbling around a little bit dazed right now.
Last time Hueneme had the football, 80-yard drive, 5 plays, 2 minutes 37 seconds. It took them to get it done. 56-yard touchdown pass, Pinedo to Taylor. 28-0, 6:21 off play action. There's the waggle again, rolling the right side of pass is Pinedo. Nice touch pass to Austin, in and out of his hands, just a little bit too high, right about the 33-yard line. But that was a nice touch effort by Gordy Pinedo.
It was, and I like the fact that Austin's out there in the flat being covered by George Cooley. You got a middle backer on a back and out of the backfield. That's a mismatch, and they got to come back to that later. Pinedo's got to try to get it in his hands because he had a few steps on Cooley.
All I can say, it serves the doctor, Jerry Guerin, right. He took that leave of absence last week. He's back here. The hand is moving a mile a minute, trying to keep tabs with this high-scoring Hueneme squad.
Well, the payoff is he got some great tri-tip from the guys down at the barbecue.
Off the right side, Jason Austin has got 1st down yardage up near the 40-yard line. We'll call that the 38 before he's dropped by Richard Burns. George Cooley there as well for Hawthorne's Cougars. That running game relentless. We'll try to get the doctor to total up the running total so far for Hueneme.
And these backs, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter who carries the ball, Tom. It just they've got some great blocking up in front of them. The holes are big, and they're doing a great job of using their blockers to get the most out of the run.
204 yards of rush offense already with 5:50 left to play in the first half. There's inside counterplay. Last time Lee had it, he ran 92 yards for the touchdown. That time, Jamario Smith up from the right side corner makes the nice stop on Lee, but that was still very well blocked at the point of attack.
Very well blocked, and it just took a great singular effort to stop that before that play could develop, and it still gained about 4.5 yards, almost 5 yards on the carry. So it's not like Hawthorne is shutting it down here, but at least that's a little glimmer of a highlight here in this first half.
Head coach for Hawthorne, Dan Robbins, in his first year as the head man at Hawthorne. He's been with the program for 15 years, replacing a great coach, a gentleman by the name of Kai Courtney, who retired. But Robbins has been around. He's seen lots of talent. They had 4 guys last year who signed as Division I players off that 9-3 team. 9 wins, 3 losses in 1998. Double wing set once again. Running the sweep play is Taylor. He's got the 1st down and more. Midfield, 45 down the sideline, 40, 35, out of bounds, right about the 36-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle perhaps by Richard Burns. And we do have perhaps an injury. Getting up slowly, Dwayne Taylor. Again, tackled very physically along the sideline as we check the replay.
Well, I don't know exactly what happens to him on this. As he's going out of bounds, he's hit by Burns, and it looks like maybe he just got his leg folded up a little bit underneath him as he came down. That's what they're working on, is his left ankle. And that's what I was worried about. It looked like he maybe folded the leg up a little bit as Burns was dragging him down, and you got to keep those legs pumping and moving. But so far, Taylor with a great ball game. He's got very, very deceptive speed, Tom. He's one of those guys that looks like he's gliding, but he's covering a lot of ground while he's doing it.
Of course, I know you remember well one of the great athletes in the 20th century, Bo Jackson, playing running back at the time for the Oakland Raiders, or the LA Raiders actually at the time, suffered a career-ending injury on a play not unlike the tackle that just occurred there. Basically, it was a problem with the hip. I think fortunately for Taylor, as Dave mentioned, the left ankle, he might be back. But of course, you've already scored twice. You're up by 28-0. It remains to be seen if you really need Taylor. You don't want to risk further injury. 1st and 10 for the 36. There's Austin off the right side, still on his feet, pile driving the defensive front forward. Billy Mitchell up to help out on the stop once again for the Cougars. You have to be impressed with Hueneme's physical brand of running the football. One thing that Coach Miller said, everybody in Florida, the coaching staff from Mainland High School, was tremendously impressed with the physical nature of play that Hueneme brings to play. They're awfully nice gentlemen, young men off the field, but when they get between the lines, they're awfully tough.
Well, that says something. You got a team that's 5th ranked in 5A ball in Florida. That means they play at a very high level of competition, so that's quite a compliment.
Wing set off the left side. There's a quarterback keeper off that veer play. That's actually a belly play where the quarterback will read the inside linebacker. If that inside linebacker basically bites on the fullback, the quarterback Pinedo is going to keep it himself. It looks like a quarterback draw, but it's actually off that belly.
Yeah, that's a nice play, and the thing about Pinedo is he's got exceptional speed. They say he runs a 4.6. Right there, he sees the bite. He sees the middle backer as George Cooley go over and try to tackle the fullback. Just a little bit of a seam, and he's gone. He's got excellent quick feet.
First and 10, in fact, 3rd and short, we'll call it. From the 24-yard line, they have to get just inside the 23. Wing set to the left side once again. Long count. Good job by Pinedo varying the snap count off the right side. Austin, I think he's got the first down near the 25-yard line. We'll wait and see as they unpile. Indication already by Joe Garces. First down, Richard Burns up to make the play for the Cougars. I know you appreciate old-time television. You didn't happen to check out who the free safety for the Cougars was. None other than Robert Reed. We talk about gang tackling. You know, they bring a bunch of players. It might even be the Brady Bunch in on those stops.
You're a sick man. I tell you right now that this offensive line is, and they have quite a bit of size on the defensive front from Hawthorne, doing a great job up front for Hueneme.
Double wing set. Austin remains the fullback. There's the inside counter play. Once again, the lead. He's in the clear, running inside the 10. 5, touchdown, Vikings!
And I want to tell you something. We're going to see this on the replay. Jamario Smith, he wishes this play didn't happen because on Monday they're going to run this play back and forth about 25 times during the film session. Right here you see the handoff, and watch the little dip move that he puts on right there, and Jamario Smith is down on the ground wondering where did he go and what happened to me. That is just a fantastic move by Mr. Leslie Lee.
25-yard touchdown run by Lee, so he's got a 92-yarder. He comes back with a 25-yarder. There's a bad snap picked up by Gordy, running the fire play, still on his feet. He's going to be dropped right about the 15-yard line. In fact, make that to 10. So for the first time, the extra point try will come up short. But nonetheless, Hueneme expanding their lead. 2:44 left to play before halftime. Hueneme's Vikings 34. The Cougars out of Hawthorne, nothing. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us. Magdaleno to kick the ball away once again. He's going to have a tired foot if things keep going the way they're going. 34-0. They're on top. Hueneme over Hawthorne's Cougars. There's that short kick once again. Fair catch call by Moala. That's a pretty good play by Moala. That's Tolu Moala, who starts at tight end for the Cougars. His brother Eric is the starting quarterback. One thing you do with that, the field position, right about the 25-yard line. In fact, make it to 29, but you don't give up the big plays when you use that little pop-up kickoff.
Well, it works well. I like it, what they're trying to do with it. They're keeping it out of the real speedy backfield guys' hands, but they are also giving up the field position to the 28. And
I backfield set strong to the right side. Of course, that means tight end flanker right. There's the option keep running with the ball off the right side is Keeble. Lamar Keeble received the pitch from quarterback Moala. A very short pickup across the 32, about the 32-yard line before Garrett Levet comes up to make the play. One thing as far as Hawthorne is concerned, Eric Moala, not renowned as a passer. He's very experienced. He started 12 games, in fact, all 12 games last year for the Cougars. So far in early 1998, 11 completions and 34 tries, 144 yards, 32% completion percentage. He's got 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There's a counter dive play off the left side. There's big yardage. That's Vamonroff, midfield 45-40. He'll be dropped right about the 40-yard line in Hawthorne territory. So Harry Vamonroff with the big play on the counter dive running off the left side before he's brought down by Tamar Lee and Jason Austin.
This is the first time that they've really just hit a real quick hitter off the weak side, and somebody out of position there for the defense had a pretty good sized hole there over the left guard tackle gap, and Vamonroff can run the ball. He was through there in a hurry.
Vamonroff, 22-yard pickup coming in. He had 7 carries for 57 yards. That's an 8.1 per carry average as penalty flags down on the field perhaps, or timeout call. We're down to 1:42 left before halftime. Hueneme's most recent score, 8-play, 73-yard drive, 3 minutes, 37 seconds to get it done. Culminating play was the 25-yard touchdown run on that counter, the inside counter. He went 92 on that same play early in the ball game by Leslie Lee, and another big play in the drive was the 21-yard run by Dwayne Taylor down the sideline on the sweep play. So timeout, Hawthorne trying to get something going here. If you get on the scoreboard 34-6, 34-7, you're still in the game. At least you have to feel that way.
Well, at least it'd be a nice little momentum shift and something to build on at halftime. And I'm sure that's what the defensive coach for Hueneme is out there talking to the guys about right now. He said, hey, you know, we got this goose egg up here. We've been playing a real tough ball the whole half. Let's don't give it up here now on some silly mistake, because with 1:42, start watching the clock and realize when it is that Hawthorne's going to have to put the ball in the air. And don't be fooled into just watching for the run here. Eventually, they're going to have to do it. Unless they pop off a really big running play and get down close to the goal line, at some point they're going to have to throw the ball.
First and 10, Hawthorne, 40-yard line in Hueneme territory. Split back, set that backfield, strong to the left side, split in right, 1:42 left. There's a counter give off the right side to Gaines. The up back off the left side. He's got some good numbers. Andre Gaines coming in, averaging 9.5 yards per carry, 8 carries for 76 yards, tackled by Mark Payne. But again, you use up a lot of clock and you're forced to call the timeout. You pick up 6 yards, but you're still well short of that goal line with 35 yards left to go. So you wonder if they perhaps are setting up some type of play action pass play over the top here momentarily.
Well, again, the defensive coach for Hueneme going out to talk to his guys. I'm sure he's going to be mentioning exactly that same thing. Guys, don't get sucked in. They still got about 30, 35, 40 yards here to go for the score. Don't be thinking run. You know, they're just not going to run the ball in with 1:29. They're going to have to throw it.
Dave, I'm going to try to keep this somewhat quiet, but I've been told we might have some special guest people, very famous people in the vicinity. We're still trying to track a couple of these people down. We talked about this at the conclusion of last week's game involving Santa Clara and Mary Star of the Sea. There could be one of the people, I don't know. That looks like Max J. MacGyver, who knows a lot of people in Hollywood, so we're hoping that he comes through with his connections. On 2nd and 5 yards to go, I backfield set, strong to the left side. They'll shift down to the split back look. Eric Moala, little hitch play to the left side. That's going to be knocked down. Good play left side defensively by Garrett Levette. That ball intended for the wideout Damon Wilson on the left side. I think Wilson might be fortunate that ball was knocked to the ground because there were 3 people converging on him to make the play.
Yeah, he was going to have a hard time breaking out of that group. Everybody had zeroed in, had their gun sights on him, and it was going to be a tough call once he caught it.
3rd and 5 yards to go from the Hueneme 35. 1:26 left before halftime. Strong to the right side. They stay in the eye. Moala off play action. Looks right to pass. He throws the ball downfield. That's going to come up short. Intended for Patrick. In fact, no, that was Wilson once again. Damon Wilson. Pressure backside by Russell Henderson. I guess created that early trigger that time by Moala. But the receiver was open on that deep outbreak right about the 20-yard line.
So he was open at that ball's delivered at the letters. I think that's a big reception out there because he would have caught it and gotten out of bounds. The clock stopped at 1:22 as it is, so they would have had a lot of time left, but unfortunately, big time pressure up the middle for Hawthorne, unable to get the play completed.
On 4th and 5 from the Hueneme 35, off play action, Moala to pass. He gets the ball away. That's almost picked off. It's caught on the bounce by Moala. Moala to Moala, first down for Hueneme, 1:13 left to play. I'm not sure if that was Jason Austin or perhaps Mark Payne had the ball in his hand for what could have been a possible touchdown return as we check the replay.
And Moala trying to make something happen here. He does a great job focusing on the ball and then tries to get some extra yardage. Austin's going to come up, strip the ball, and luckily, big number 72, Cameron Stevenson, there to retrieve it.
Looked like it might have been Victor Perez, the linebacker, number 56. I'm not going to mention Dave Wheeler. He talks about he didn't have the greatest of hands playing middle linebacker for Royal High School and Moore Park Community College in years past. So We won't bring up the Dave Wheeler card, but I saw him shake his hand a little bit on that play.
Yeah, Victor Perez is shaking his head right now. The defensive coach from Hueneme out to pat him on the back and say, hey, it's okay, bud. Don't worry about the fact that you dropped that one. We'll get the next one. But I'm sure he wishes he could have that play back because he had nothing but grass in front of him between him and the goal line. It would have been a very big play.
Dave Wheeler, you know as well as I do, 25 years from now, he'll be talking about the one he picked off and went 75 for the score versus Hawthorne.
I know I do.
It's amazing how those dropped interceptions end up being long returns for touchdowns. Nobody's left around to really call you on those plays.
Well, that's the thing. You know, everybody's, most of the guys I played with don't live close to the area, so I can tell that story over and over again, and I get better every time.
First and 10, Hawthorne still have a chance to dent that scoreboard. 1:07 left to play. There's a pump fake, run the deep outbreak to Wilson. Almost picked off. It might have been caught by Wilson. Tamar Wilson was there apparently to knock it away. Good coverage by Tamar Wilson, or correction, Tamar Lee on Wilson. So Tamar Lee with a nice drive on the football. Damon Wilson, the intended receiver. Good job by Tamar Lee.
Excellent play by the DB. Just didn't suck up for the pump fake and stayed back deep in his zone. He's playing the deep halves, it looked like they were playing there with maybe a man up or some kind of 5-under zone, and he was just right over there knocking it down.
Double twin, 2 left, 2 right, single back in a backfield behind Moala, who rolls right to pass. Deep outbreak once again, well covered. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver once again, Damon Wilson. That was the front and back coverage. Darnell Thompson was there along with Tamar Lee once again. Excellent coverage front and back that time by Hueneme.
Hueneme's not going to give up anything cheap here. At least it doesn't look like it so far. They're making Hawthorne really work every single bit of this last minute and 29 since their last timeout call. And in 31 seconds here, they've been able to manage zip. They got the ball first and 10, and they have nothing here. So this is going to be a big test right here. This down right now.
58 seconds left to play before halftime. 3rd and 10 for Hawthorne. They trail 34-0 to Hueneme. Double twin once again. 2 left, 2 right. Single back in the backfield is Keeble to pass. There's a fade route left side. It's up in the air, up for grabs. That'll come up incomplete. The ball intended off the left side for the wideout Brent Fletcher. Incomplete. Good coverage by Ronnie Lemos along with Mark Payne. We're going to take a short break. 34-0 play before halftime. Looked like Vamonroff perhaps, or maybe Robert Reed. We'll have to check the number. They're going to hustle to that line of scrimmage. As soon as they reset the chain, they're going to start the clock. Hawthorne apparently out of first downs. There's the indication by Joe Garces. That's a good, smart play by the quarterback, Moala. Take the snap, throw it to the ground on the spike, and they get that benefit of the stop clockage on the incomplete pass.
And there's number 25 out there, and I don't know if that is Vamonroff or if somebody that we don't have on our roster here, but did a great job looking that ball in, and a good job by Moala to make that play happen. You know, he had a lot of pressure on coming from both the outside left and outside right defensively for Hueneme, and he kind of stepped up underneath the pocket, waited for his man to clear, and got that ball right in there. So an excellent job of passing and making the pass play happen by Eric Moala.
Hawthorne did in fact have a timeout remaining. They have just called that. Dan Robbins into the offensive huddle to talk it over. 1st and goal, in fact make that 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Hawthorne trailing 34-0 to Hueneme. This is a good opportunity. The 1999 Game of the Week crew. Again, we love these guys. They do a great job. Lots of fun. They have a good time. And they're very professional going about their business. Directing tonight, Roger Muchmore. Always talk about the Iceman here, the General Joe Beltran, our floor director, aligned to the left side of Dave Wheeler, the Dr. Jerry Guerin, and myself. Graphics tonight, Jim Milligan. The audio sultan of sound is Steve Starr. Engineer replay tonight, Carl Holm. Who's that guy up there? That would not be Max J. MacGyver, a.k.a. Bobby Boucher.
There he is.
There he is.
My God, what a specimen that kid is.
Hulking out a little bit. Looked like Lou Ferrigno, didn't he?
He's obviously on roids.
Set up 2nd and goal from just inside the 5-yard line. It'd take me a while to recover from that one. That's Vamonroff running off the right side near the goal line. He's going to come up just a little bit short. Inside the 1-yard line, perhaps Harry Vamonroff. They're going to continue to wind the clock down. 30 seconds and counting. 34-0 Hawthorne. correction, Hawthorne trailing Hueneme, but Hawthorne trying to get in that end zone. There's that full house look. Play action fake, wide open in the middle of the end zone, dropping the football, the intended receiver from Ronroth. That ball was thrown a little bit too far behind Harry Von Monroth, and we also have a penalty flag in the middle of the end zone. Illegal receiver downfield, so it would have been nullified anyway, Dave.
Yeah, the only problem with this is it stops the clock as far as Hueneme is concerned. Of course, the incomplete pass would have done the same thing, but Hawthorne had an excellent opportunity to score on that, and now they're going to move themselves backwards a little bit here. So again, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, but nicely set up. Good play fake, and he was wide open out there. That ball should have been caught. He had both hands on it.
Camera number 2 tonight, our replay specialist, Shane Davis.
Ineligible downfield. Repeat third down.
Bill Goodman on camera number 3, Stacy Dillon on camera 4. He's doing a great job as well. Our production assistants tonight, John Beltran and Roland Martinez. Just outside the 5-yard line, we'll call it the 6. Third and goal from the 6-yard line, 18 seconds left before halftime. Hawthorne has to be very careful with play selection here, because they don't have a lot of time. If you want to play short of the goal line, you'll probably run out of time.
It's going to be tough to run the play if it's something that doesn't stop the clock and get back under center before this thing goes down.
Looking for some combination route. There it is off the left side, middle of the end zone. There's a wide open receiver. He drops that football under some pressure. That was Harry Von Monroth, once again the intended receiver. Tamar Lee in the vicinity, perhaps disrupting the concentration of Von Monroth.
I think you got a hand on it too, Tommy. Good job back there. They had a lot of crisscrossing action going on with the receivers, trying to confuse the DBs. Everybody stayed at home, and Tamar Lee right over there to swat that away.
With Eric Moala's quickness, wide side of the football field, some type of sprint out, if you have that in your arsenal on 4th down, you might look for that. Double twin, double tight end, double flanker, single back in that backfield behind Moala. Moala looked to pass. He'll scramble to the left side under some pressure. Backside pressure is going to get there. So on 4th down, nothing doing. Great defensive goal line stand by Hueneme. Leading the way was Paul DiMalanta for the Hueneme Vikings. That's a great job by a team that's given up 101 points in their initial 2 contests in 1998, 1999. They basically built that brick wall and didn't let anybody penetrate on that series.
And as tough as this defensive unit's been here in this first half, Tommy, you wonder just how good Alemany is and Mainland in Florida. I mean, these two teams scored 100 points on this defense. They've got to be some pretty good football players.
8 seconds remain before halftime. Hueneme 34, Hawthorne nothing from, we'll call it the 5-yard line. Wide slot to the left side, wing right is Taylor. The single back is Leslie Lee behind Gordy Pinedo. This should be the last play on the draw play. There's Leslie Lee running the ball off the right side, 10-yard line. He'll be knocked off his feet at the 12. So Leslie Lee adding to his very impressive first half rushing totals. I think we're going to let Jerry Guerin, the doctor, kind of rest the hand a minute. Then he's going to add up all these totals. They are quite impressive. We'll be back at halftime. 34-0, Hueneme over Hawthorne. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In this corner, Amici's Pizza, and in the other corner, Chucky Poo's Pizza Parlor. Amici's Pizza comes out looking great with fresh products on their pizza for a zesty Italian taste. Ooh, Chucky takes a low blow with frozen-made products. Amici's Pizza is all over Chucky like a free lunch. Oh, and Amici goes in for the kill with 2 locations and fast delivery service. And Chucky's down with Amici's great meal deal punch. Amici's Pizza, more than just pizza. So for Italian chow, call Amici's now.
What's happening?
What's up?
Check it out.
Check it out.
If you like ball so much, why can't you be like the other girls and play in a softball team? Because I don't like softball.
The original.
I am picturing us getting out of here alive.
After school.
free donuts for the blind girl before? Awesome! I didn't mean it.
We're back. It's halftime. Hawthorne trails Hueneme 34-0. Tremendous first half of football offensively and defensively for the Hueneme Vikings. We're going to check some of the halftime stats. Hawthorne in the first half, Moala 3 of 12 passing for only 43 net yards of pass offense. Rushing wise, Hawthorne 18 carries for 77 yards. As we check the replay, this is how they got it going here. Hueneme, Taylor picks that kickoff up, had trouble initially, ends up 90 yards later downfield in the end zone for their opening score. Good blocking downfield, but at this point in time it became a speed game. Speed game basically won by Dwayne Taylor. Explosively after 15 seconds elapsed time in this football game, Hueneme already on top, 7-0. There's Jason Austin scoring his touchdown, 4-yard run, the power run off the right side. Designed to go off tackle, kind of bounced to the outside with pressure right about the 2-yard line, was able to get into the end zone for the score. Here's a kickoff, Jamario Smith with a nice return for Hawthorne down the left sideline in front of his bench. Not a lot of scoring opportunities for Hawthorne in the first half, but the opportunities they had were turned away by that aggressive Hueneme defensive football team. There we have the 92-yard run. The counter play, Leslie Lee running that from that right wingback spot back to the left side, basically untouched. A little bit of contact at the point of attack, but once he broke into the secondary, he was on his way. 92 yards later, it's 21-0 Hueneme.
You mentioned the point of attack, Tom. A lot of great blocks being thrown out there tonight. You see Tatogi and Batista, the two big guards. This is the waggle look. They're dropping back to protect Pinedo, the quarterback, and wide open downfield. There's Taylor. He's off and running.
How about Dwayne Taylor? He had a 90-yard kickoff return, comes back later with the 56-yard scoring strike from Pinedo.
Now, hopefully we're going to see him in the second half. We don't know for sure about him. He had a little bit of a medical problem late in the second quarter.
And there's Leslie Lee, that same counter play he went 92 yards on earlier. He goes 25 for the score. 2 touchdowns. How about these numbers, Dave Wheeler? 8 carries, 138 yards in the first half for Leslie Lee, and he's got 2 touchdowns. Taylor, 5 carries for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that 90-yard kickoff return.
This is some unbelievable numbers, and they can only add to them here in the second half. I mean, these guys, they came out chomping at the bit. They're ready to go. Hawthorne just now starting to bring out their captains, and we've got 29 seconds to go till kickoff. So obviously the Hawthorne boys have been in the locker room trying to come up with some answers, and I'm not sure they got them all right.
Pinedo 1 of 2 passing, of course, a completion, 56-yard touchdown strike to Taylor. 328 yards of total offense in the first half for Hueneme to only 120 for Hawthorne. Moala, as we mentioned, 3 of 12 passing for 43 yards. Keeble out of the backfield, Lamar, 10 carries for 39 yards. Bamonroff, 2 carries for 32. Gaines carried the ball twice for 7 yards. Smith, 1 catch for 11. Moala, that's Eric's brother, 1 catch for 13 yards. So it's 34-0 Hueneme, looking for that initial win here in 1999. 2 tough defeats in weeks number 1 and 2. Hawthorne comes in 1-1 on the season as the captains will make their way towards the middle of the football field. We're going to try something here. I don't know if we'll be able to accomplish it. We talked about some special guests that we're looking for. This first, I'm going to hesitate to say individual, but let me say that, you know, we like to give awards or things to people that actually come onto our program. We give them with parting gifts. We try to give them parting gifts. Well, this particular person, we're not going to give them a parting gift. We might give them a bushel basket full of apples, carrots, and oats. I guess you might call it kind of an equine granola. Awfully difficult getting this particular person into our press box location, but we're going to try nonetheless. Not only that, it's hard getting the headset across this person's head. I think we're working on it right now. We're almost, I think
easy there, big fella.
I think we might
have. In there with those ears.
It's good to see you. How was, what was the name of that guy that takes care of you again?
Oh, that'd be Wilbur. He's a good guy. But Tom, I'll tell you, he just doesn't love me anymore.
Well, it's good to hear that Wilbur's doing well. How about yourself? You getting along okay out in the backyard there?
Doing all right, loving this game of football at Hueneme High School.
We're going to unfortunately have to send this person away. He's got a date at a parade, I think, tomorrow. He's pulling a wagon, I think, so going to let him get away, but it's nice for him to stop by momentarily at best. In the coming weeks, we hope to bring other outstanding, talented people that you might recognize. We use that word people, I guess, somewhat loosely, Dave Wheeler.
Well, you never know who's going to pop up in here, and I confidentially, Mr. Ed told me on the way out, he said, pull a wagon, heck, he's got a hot date with a little filly down Hueneme way here, so you never know about him. These old stars, they never quite lose that animal magnetism, as it were.
There's absolutely no question about that. And, of course, celebrity voices were impersonated.
Poorly.
Nonetheless, a great job by Mr. Ed. We appreciate his appearance here tonight. Hueneme to kick the ball away. They're up 34-0. If we're lucky, we might get another special guest later on in our broadcast. We're hoping it might occur. Good first half of football. Magdaleno to kick it away. Probably will try that pop-up kickoff, and he will, angling that towards the right side of the football field. That's going to be picked off by Vamanrov near midfield, still on his feet into Hueneme territory, right about the 47-yard line. Hawthorne will take over first and 10. Of course, football teams, character is always a big issue. And when you're down 34-0 at halftime, it's a very important part of the ball game for the head coach and assistant coaching staff for Hawthorne. They want to see how these kids respond.
Oh, you bet they do. And right there, Hari Vamanrov, I don't know if this was by design or what, but that was a great job. You know, that little pop kick, they know it's going over to the right side. The tendency for the defense is to rush down to that right side. They tried to bring it outside, almost broke it.
There's a counter dive to Andre Gaines off the right side. Big time hit by Taylor. Jesse Taylor, the free safety, coming up with that shoulder pad. Initial contact was Victor Perez, but finishing up was Taylor out of that secondary.
And I tell you, you can tell that this young man has been coached by Stroger, because that's the same type of play Clint used to make coming up out of the backfield for Oxnard years ago. And he put a big-time hit right there on a much bigger back.
We mentioned Gaines coming into this evening's action. 8 carries for 76 yards, averaging 9.5 yards per carry. Split back set behind Eric Moala. Strong to the right side. There's a counter dive off the left side to Lamar Keeble. He's got lots of running room. 35-30, breaks down the sideline. 25 still on his feet out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Make that the 25. First and 10 for Lamar Keeble and Hawthorne High School.
And that was just a singular effort by the running back, but you can see right away the defensive end crashes down, gets himself hooked up inside, then can't get back out to lend support, and that's Victor Perez. And I know he's shaking his head right now, wishing he had that play back. He can't let himself sink down too quickly, or they're going to take that off tackle play all day long.
Hawthorne plays out of the very tough Bay League, which includes Peninsula, Miracosta, Beverly Hills, Lusinger, Culver City, Santa Monica, and Inglewood. Split back set. Now they'll realign Keeble from right side to left side. That's that pro look in the backfield, strong to the right side. There's a counter fake. The quarterback keep Moala off the right side inside the 15-yard line, near the 10-yard line. Moala, they faked that counter give, actually faked the blast play, the power look running left. Moala kept it off the right side. He's brought down by Nate Scanlon.
And that's awfully deep in the defensive backfield for a guy like Scanlon, but he does a great job of getting into his pursuit angle, and he just catches up with the play from the backside and able to bring him down.
15 yards and the first down. Eric Moala, 10-yard line in Hueneme territory. 10:40 left to play in the third. Split back set strong to the left side. Moala will call the signal, looking for that initial score. Quick slant break near the end zone. That's a touchdown. Nice catch. The split end, Damon Wilson on that quick slant break. He's got the catch in the end zone. Touchdown Hawthorne. They're on the board.
And very workmanlike in this opening drive. And I tell you, I hope Hueneme isn't asleep at the wheel here, because the Cougars are not ready to go home yet without having a possibility of a win. And a little bit of a wait for his man to clear. And that ball thrown well behind the receiver. Wilson does a good job going up the ladder to get it.
Somebody in position, I should say, perhaps to make a play on that ball, stumbled to the ground, possibly reacting to the underthrown football to pass Moala. 2-point conversion try in the end zone. Gets the ball away, catch is made. That's a 2-point try that's successful. That time it's Nathan Patrick So all of a sudden it's 34-8, Hueneme on top, but that was a very impressive opening drive of the second half by Hawthorne.
They showed a lot of poise. They just came out and did the things they needed to do. And Moala right here goes to pump, pulls the ball back down. He's got defensive pressure there, and I believe that's number 56. That's Victor Perez. Got an arm on the ball, just pulls it out, throws the ball right in there. Nice job.
10:34 left to play in the third. 34-8 Hueneme. We'll be right back. We'll kick the ball away. This is only the second time Hawthorne with the kickoff. The opening kickoff of this football game brought back 90 yards for a touchdown by Dwayne Taylor. So they definitely, I'm talking about Hawthorne, don't want a repeat of that.
Well, they're not going to have exactly the same type of play, only because Dwayne Taylor is not in the ball game anymore. And so they don't have to worry about his speed back there, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him. There you go, onside.
There's the onside kick fielded by Jesse Taylor, bringing it back towards the Hueneme sideline. He's going to be stopped right about the 40-yard line. Still excellent field position for Hueneme. Momo Vaimonga with the play for Hawthorne. One thing you notice, some of the names here, a large contingent of Tongans, young men of Tongan heritage. And Tonga, not to be confused with Samoa. In fact, I did a little homework on the computer last night. Tonga is actually a series of about 150 islands, 40 of which are occupied by people. It's about 1,200 miles northeast of New Zealand. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Double wing set. Quarterback remains Gordy Pinedo. On the sweep play, running left is Taylor, or Leslie Lee, correction. 50-yard line, 45, first down. There's a fumbled football. That is a live football, and Hawthorne on top. They've got the recovery.
And I tell you what, Coach, we're seeing a little bit of momentum swing here. That was number 6, I believe, Andre Gaines with the tackle from behind to strip the ball off of Lee, and he just makes a great cut up his middle here. He's got blockers out in front of him. And there you see Gaines coming in, strips the ball out, loose ball. Burns is right there to jump on it. Actually, I guess that was Ekamandu, number 2, not number 3, that jumped on that ball. And this is quite a turnaround. They've got some things going on here.
36-yard line, the ball back in their possession, in their territory. Hawthorne High School, split back set, Moala to pass, fade route, left sideline, intended for Patrick. That might be picked off. In and out of the hands of Julian Gooden. Gooden was there for the pick at the 45-yard line in Hueneme territory, right through his hands. Of course, you talk about the slickness of the football. I think that played a role on that missed interception.
I would agree with that. And again, you see that these guys, they probably have a very simple passing tree. They run a lot of timing routes, and the quarterbacks, you know, he seems to throw that ball, Moala does, a little bit ahead of where the break will come. He knows where he thinks the receiver is going to be. And several times tonight, there's been defenders there, and we just haven't had the big play yet off the pick.
On 2nd and 10, there's that counter dive play once again off the left side. That's probably Vamonroff. We'll wait and see. It is Harry Vamonroff. Jesse Taylor up to make the stop defensively for Hueneme. Getting back to that Tongan situation, Tonga actually located south of Samoa. You have the independent state of Western Samoa, and then you have the American Protectorate, which is American Samoa. It's also east of Fiji and west of Tahiti. Of course, we're talking about the South Pacific. It's a monarchy, almost 100% literacy rate in Tonga. Off the right side, there's a counter dive to Gaines. Andre Gaines again, big time tackle from the free safety, Jesse Taylor. Initial tackle, Leslie Lee was there. And it looked like I saw the nose guard, Tyrone Tatogi, in on the stop as well.
Yeah, we haven't called Tatogi's name a lot tonight. That defensive line hasn't been making a lot of stops, but they've been taking up territory, and then the backers, and now more in the second half, the DBs making a lot of the stops, and that's not a good sign for Hueneme. They want to have that front 7 be making most of those tackles.
Split back set, strong to the right side, counter dive again. In fact, they'll keep it and pitch to Keeble in the backfield. 45-yard line, out of bounds. Short pickup, they'll run the clock. Didn't quite get out of bounds. So evidently, head coach Dan Robbins and staff from Hawthorne appealing to the character of those Hawthorne High School Cougars at halftime, and they have very much responded here in the third period.
Well, they're looking a lot more crisp and more intense. They're ripping off yards in bigger chunks. It's going to be interesting to see how the defense for Hueneme responds to this. This is a definite challenge and slap in the face. They put that goose egg up in the first half. They want to definitely keep it at 8 or less, or at least not have any more scoring if they can.
2nd and 7 from the 45. Slant break. Tremendous hit by Taylor. Jesse
no.
Taylor, they're going to throw the flag. 2 flags, in fact. Incomplete intended for Hanson on that quick slant. In fact, make that Sean Holland, number 5, not number 7. Level on the play by Jesse Taylor. We'll look for the replay.
And I think the only reason this might be called is because that play's not, you know, that's very, very close. The only thing they're probably going to call is because he struck with the top of the helmet and didn't come with the shoulder. But, you know, I'm a defensive guy, so I love that kind of hitting, but you don't want players to be hurt either. But definitely the receiver saw he wasn't going to catch the ball and had kind of stopped, not going full speed. But the DB trying to time it up with the reception of the ball. There's the ball, bam. I mean, that's just hard-nosed football right there.
Well, I think Jesse Taylor, as you mentioned, I think the point is well made. The leading with the helmet was the penalty on that particular play. Obviously, he did not see the flight of the football.
Dead ball. Personal foul. First down.
Because he already had the head basically in that attack mode, that cruise missile coming in for the big-time hit. And I think that was the problem on that particular play. We're going to take a short break as the medical staff from Hawthorne will continue to attend to Sean Holland. With 8:33 left to play in the third, Hueneme leads 34-8 over Hawthorne, but Hawthorne up. Good news, Sean Holland, the split end off the left side, running that quick slant break. Took the big-time hit from free safety Jesse Taylor, but able to make his way back towards that Hawthorne sideline, basically unassisted, so it looks like he's going to be okay.
That is great to see. And also, we have Dwayne Taylor down there on the sideline. I don't know if you caught his number there, Coach, but he is down there on the sideline and dressed. Interesting to see if he comes back this second half.
First and 10 from the 30-yard line. Hawthorne has that football, trying to get closer into this ballgame. There's a reverse play, running back from left to right inside the 30 near the 25-yard line. Running with the football was Kingsley Ekamandu. Tackle on the play by Jesse Taylor. Very active along with Darnell Thompson.
And Hawthorne definitely looking better this half. We're going to wait and see what this, they are. It is going to be a hold.
See if we can pick it up here on the replay, perhaps right there on the perimeter.
That would be big number 73
Repeat
for
first
Hawthorne.
down.
That's Moa Likio. He basically tackled the guy on the perimeter. Nice job.
Hawthorne score in the third period, 4-play, 53-yard drive, 10-yard pass, Moala to Wilson, 2-point conversion, Moala to Patrick. First and 20, off play action, rolling left to pass Moala. He's got a receiver on the crossing route, big time hit once again, short pickup. Wide receiver running across the formation from right to left. That was Brent Fisher. Tackle by Jesse Taylor again as we check the replay.
Great blocking up front by the Hawthorne line, gives him plenty of time, and right there is Taylor to make the stop, and with Victor Perez, 56, from his outside backer position, and great job by the defense so far on just stopping this drive.
One thing that head coach Dan Robbins from Hawthorne said, we have a very green offensive line, including amongst that group 2 juniors and 1 sophomore starting up front. Very experienced quarterback. Counter give off the left side, that's Harry Vamonroff. Close to the first down at the 20-yard line. Very effective with that counter give. Basically, quarterback steps one way, reverses back the other. And I guess taking advantage of the overreacting inside backers, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. They're getting really good blocking right now, too, out of number 70. And he's not real big. That's Fafita. He's listed as 6'1" and 286 or 206. And that's about right. He looks more like a tight end type or a defensive outside backer type, but he's not much of an offensive tackle size-wise, but he's doing a great job of getting himself in position and turning his man out, and the hole is opening very quickly.
First and 10 from the Hueneme 20. Hawthorne has the football. They run the flanker back in motion from right to left. Split back set, counter give once again to Vamonroff. Still on his feet inside the 15 near the 13-yard line. So lots of positive yardage on first and 10. Gets about 7. Vamonroff before he's brought down by Darnell Thompson along with Mark Payne.
And more we're seeing him get into that defensive backfield in a hurry and giving some of the big grunts up front a little bit of a breather. We see Palazuelos just came out for a little bit of a blow, so did Totogi. and I believe also Morales. So you had the big three guys that usually take up a lot of real estate getting a rest.
The Monroe, 5 carries for 60 yards of net rush offense. Split back set slot to the right side. That means tight end left. Counter give again off the left side. Enough for the first out. Fumbled football. Scramble for the ball. Recovered by Hueneme inside the 10-yard line.
And I'm waiting to see who gets up off the bottom of that pile, Tommy. And the guy who brought the football up, that's Mark Payne again. He's having a great defensive ball game so far. But the guys that made it happen was big number 77 up front. And that's Angel Palazuelos. And he did a great job of closing that hole down. There just wasn't a lot of running room for the back. When he went through, he got his arms caught up with some of the defenders, and the ball slipped out.
Andre Gaines, the running back on that play. They ran a counter again, that time off the right side. First and 10, Hueneme. 6:11 left to play in the third period. They're on top, 34-8. There's a counter give off the right side to Jason Austin. There's a nice run across the 15-yard line near the 20. Brought down on the play by Nico Fatai. We have an injured Hueneme football player slow in getting up. Once again, not good news for the Vikings.
Yeah, they don't want to get too beat up in a game that they're up 34-8. And you know, they do have that tough game coming up in the next couple weeks. And that's number 18 who possibly went down, and that's Brad Gibbs. I think that's who the player is that got hurt. Can't really read a number the way he's lying at this point. So it's
looks like somebody kind of rolled up the backside of Gibbs, trying to throw the block. Contact on the backside near the knee area, if it is Gibbs, on the replay. Great job by Shane once again with that replay, picking that up. It's always great to have the benefit of replay. Sometimes these offensive plays are run with such efficiency and such speed, especially teams like Hawthorne and Hueneme that showcase the explosive speed. It's always great to have the replay so you can pick up exactly what happened.
Yeah, it makes us look a lot better too if we guessed right the first time when it was going full speed. And that's exactly, I think you're right. His own man kind of caught him, and hopefully that's just a case where maybe it's a light bruise on the back of the leg and not something serious. He's getting up and kind of limping off, and whoa, that's Mr. Austin. So we guessed wrong on the number. It's Jason Austin getting up, and they can't afford to lose a guy of this guy's caliber.
Looks like Jason Austin and Gibbs actually making contact with each other, so perhaps playing a role in that injury. Austin suffering an injury late in the season last year that really hampered the playoff efforts late in those Division IV playoffs last year, along with Kerry Colbert, sorely missed in that semifinal loss to San Luis Obispo. Of course, the Division IV winner last year out of the Northern League, San Luis Obispo dropping that 31-14 decision in the title game to Arroyo Grande, who's a very powerful football team once again. 2nd and 2 yards to go for Hueneme, 34-8. They have the lead in the third period. Looking for that first down conversion on that long count. The counter give off the right side, first down Leslie Lee. Across, he's got a fumble football once again, and Hawthorne back on top near the 25-yard line perhaps. They say they have it. The official agrees.
Well, they're putting the ball on the ground a lot out here, and I know that's not going to make Coach Miller happy because that's something they're trying to eliminate. It looks like Michael Thomas, number 13, coming up with that. There's the big hit. Tackling the football with the helmet. That's a great technique for all you coaches on the younger level out there. It looked like it was Ekamandu coming up from his safety position, putting the hat on the football. It's a much safer way to tackle because you don't have as much of a blow to the head as you're trying to tackle, and it's hard for a running back to hang on to that football when a hat gets placed on it.
Back in business from the 25-yard line in Hueneme territory, the Hawthorne Cougars. Split back, set the pass, fade route intended off the right side for Jamario Smith. That's almost picked off by Watkins. Left side cornerback Eric Watkins in position to make the pick. Jamario Smith didn't really have much of a chance there at that ball.
No, he didn't, and Watkins had a good shot at it. He's got to go up and get this ball at its highest point. He jumps up but lets the ball come down, and I think possibly was seeing that receiver coming at him a little bit too. But he's got to go up and get that ball.
Hawthorne plays, we mentioned the Bay League. That's Division II in the CIF Southern section. They were 9-3 in '98. Won their opening round playoff game against Glendora, 49-45. Lost to Dominguez, 41-26 in round 2. The eventual winner out of it, Division II, was Diamond Bar High School. pro set in the backfield. There's that little belly give to Vamonroff. Short pickup off the left side inside the 25-yard line, perhaps to the 23. Will bring up 3rd and long for the Cougars.
And Victor Perez with a fine job from his right defensive end, outside backer position. That time not crashing down. Vamonroff had no running lane off to the outside off tackle, and he was right there to make the stop.
Big play in this football game for Hawthorne, trying to get, I guess you might say, legitimately back in it, trailing 34-8 with 5 minutes left to play in the third. I backfield set strong to the right side. Moala off play action, rolls right to pass. Throws that deep corner break intended for Patrick. He goes up high, in and out of his hands, incomplete. Good coverage once again by Eric Watkins, the left side cornerback.
Excellent job of coverage on that, and the defense not fooled that time, not going for the run fake. Not too good a job of selling it either this time by Hawthorne. Just a little bit of a kind of shove the ball at him. This ball is not badly thrown, but just slightly over the outreached arms of the receiver, and great coverage by Watkins.
From the 30-yard line, in fact, make that the 31. Apparently a 41-yard field goal try. Kick is on its way. That's going to come up short and off to the left. So the field goal try, no good. Once again, Hueneme, following that Leslie Lee turnover inside the 30-yard line, they turn away Hawthorne's Cougars.
Now there's a program that goes in depth on the issues and news that affects us here in Ventura County. Impact News and Views is your weekly news program exclusively on Jones Channel 6. Each week, the Impact News team provides intriguing reports and interviews with people in the news. Get the information you need every week on the stories that
effectively here in the third period, but not without mistakes. They put the ball on the ground and lost it twice in this period. They take over 1st and 10 from their 20 following that missed field goal by Hawthorne. 34-8, Hueneme on top, double wing set. Give the ball off the left side. In fact, there's a counter play once again. Pickup of about 4, perhaps 5 yards by Dwayne Taylor. He's back in the ball game. That's good news for Hueneme. Injured running that sweep play in the first period. In fact, the first half, right in front of the Hueneme bench. Spent some time being attended to on the bench by the medical staff, but he's probably been asking Coach Miller, Coach, I'm ready to go, since that injury occurred.
We looked pretty good on that play, and he was such a big part of the offense in the first quarter and a half that you're really glad to see him get a chance to come back here and play some in this second half of ball.
2nd and 5 yards to go for Hueneme's Vikings. 25-yard line, down to 4:05 and counting in the third period. Once again, double wing set. Gordy Pinedo has gone all the way, the outstanding sophomore, the transfer from St. Bonaventure. There's a sweep play running off the left side. Taylor once again, he's going to be stacked up short of the first down by Nico Fatai. All of a sudden the defense for Hawthorne getting more stingy, but I think one thing as far as Hueneme, Dave, their tempo has slowed down quite a bit here in the second half.
Yeah, they don't look nearly as deliberate or as crisp as they did in the first half, but the problem for Hawthorne, and it's going to start becoming more and more of a factor, is that they're down by still considerably a lot of points, and with both teams running the ball predominantly, that clock's not going to last long. It's going to start being an enemy here real quick. 3rd
and short. There's a counter give on the belly off the left side, Leslie Lee. I think he's short of the first down. If he gets a good spot, he might have it. Didn't quite make it to that 30-yard line, I do not believe, which would leave him about a half yard short of the first down.
We'll have to wait and see how Coach Miller goes with this, but I think a real nice psychological move right here might be to go for this. If you're short less than a foot, you know, why not? Make Hawthorne have to do something here defensively that is a big play, and tell them, hey, you know what? You're coming into our house. We're killing you here. You're going to have to stop us. And they ended up getting the first down anyway, but I still think I would have gone for it maybe. You're up 34-8 with a little bit over a quarter left. Why not?
And I'm not one to disagree with you, as Julian Gooden will check into the ball game, replacing Dwayne Taylor. I think psychologically your offense feels they can get less than half a yard in length on every play. We'll wait and see what happens. Pinedo with the long signal count, double wing set once again. They're going to run the sweep play to Gooden off the right side. He's got the first down and more across that 30-yard line to about the 33. In fact, maybe even up to the 38-yard line. So Julian Gooden, first down for Hueneme.
Great job of running, too. Jamario Smith, I believe, came up and helped out on that tackle. Seems like it's getting harder and harder to see the field. And I realize that we've got a little bit of fog rolling in here late night, but not too bad so far. And things are starting to pick up a little bit here pace-wise for Hueneme. You talked about their timing and their tempo, but it's hard to stay excited when you're a high school kid and you're up 34-0 at halftime. It's hard to kind of keep that edge going during the course of the ball game, Tommy.
And we have a penalty marked off against Hueneme, evidently a dead ball situation after the first down was achieved. First down, I believe, on that yardage stick on the far side. So whatever happened after the first down was picked up by Gooden. Double wing set, quarterback is Gordy Pinedo. What a great transfer, valuable addition to this program, and I think the best news for Coach Miller, he's only a sophomore. There's a waggle look rolling the left side of pass. Pinedo throws the ball downfield, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. I believe that's Gibbs, and we have an illegal receiver downfield, and I think that might be Dean Smith, the center, number 59. We talked about Dean Smith. We didn't know Dean Smith had any eligibility left, I don't think, did we, Dave?
I wasn't sure either. He coached for so many years down there at North Carolina. I didn't think he had any high school eligibility left either. But actually, that whole right side of the line could have been called for that. You had Batista downfield. I think Tatogi was downfield. Just a lot of linemen downfield, and I don't know if that's something where they were,
downfield.
thinking waggle, which
Repeat first down.
they're thinking waggle, which comes off the run look. They've got the running play stuck in their head, but those guys can't get impatient and run downfield. That's definitely a forward pass. It was waggle all the way. Nice job of laying the ball in there by their quarterback, Gordy Pinedo. Tough break that he gets called back.
And for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, your son Dean doing a great job. Of course, it all begins with the center. He's the guy that starts it in motion. You have 34 points on that scoreboard. You know that center and that offensive line is doing something right. They had 272 yards of rush offense in the first half.
So, and I can sympathize with Dean Smith. I played center 1 year, and it's a tough position. You got to have your head into every single play, what's going on. You've got to remember the snap count, because if you're the only guy who doesn't, you look pretty silly out there. And Dean Smith and the rest of that line for Hueneme doing a great job out here tonight.
Coach Larry Miller, tremendous football coach here at Hueneme. He's really brought an attitude to this Hueneme campus, not only a confident attitude, but a very classy attitude. These young men, they approach you when they see you. They're very respectful. You know they have that quiet confidence, but they don't go around basically expounding upon their abilities and talking a lot of stuff. They just go out and get it done between the lines.
Well, I was talking to coaching legend Lou Cianovich prior to the game, and Lou is now over here on this campus helping out, and he said, you know, Dave, this is the best kept secret in Ventura County. He says, this high school program here is fantastic. Anybody would know, he would.
Double wing set once again. Some premature movement off the waggle look again. Pinedo throwing the ball downfield. He's got a receiver open. That's Taylor. Diving try right about the 48-yard line in Hawthorne territory. Comes up incomplete. Pretty well thrown football by Pinedo, especially throwing back on that backside post break. And good blocking up front, Dave.
You bet. He had excellent protection. He throws this ball, lays it out there nicely. Taylor just can't quite get to it. And a bad blow for Hawthorne, and I can't see exactly what happened. If he ended up, it looked like possibly Jamario Smith stepped on somebody's foot and twisted an ankle, or he may have pulled a lower leg muscle. It's hard to tell. Might even be cramping, although I doubt it. It's kind of cool out here tonight. He shouldn't have any cramp problems, but he's played a heck of a ball game for Hawthorne. It'd be tough to see him losing.
We're going to take a short break. 2:13 left to play in the third. Hueneme 34, Hawthorne 8. Stay with us.
Enjoy all the rich resources and beauty of California. California Country is a fast-paced, fun, and entertaining look at the people that keep the nation and the world fed and clothed. Plus, enjoy regular features including recipes, selecting produce, and home gardening tips. Join us in the country, California Country, Mondays at 6 and Thursdays at 5.
And we're back. Beautiful Hueneme High School campus.
Looking for that replay. It's not going to materialize at the moment. Second, and we'll still call it 20 yards to go for Hueneme. Double wing set on first down. There's that inside counter play once again to Leslie Lee. Still a very effective play by Lee. He's gone 92 and 25 for scores in the first half. Richard Burns up to make the play. Gets about 5 on that play. Still third and about 13 or more yards to go. 1:55 left and counting in the third period. Hueneme 34-8 over Hawthorne. But again, I think Coach Miller and Coach Pinedo, they talk about keeping it simple. Run the counter, run the belly, run the waggle, and try to perfect those plays as they approach Pacific View League action in a couple of weeks.
Well, it's worked over the years for a lot of winning coaches around this county. Thinking of like George Contreras at Westlake years ago. Don't run a lot of stuff, just run what you run really, really well.
From their 25-yard line, 3rd and 15. There's that inside counter once again, this time stacked up, stop right at that exchange point. Leslie Lee, Andre Gaines up to make the stop for Hawthorne. That's the old going to the well perhaps once too often on that play.
Well, I was going to mention on the last play, Burns from his cornerback position came over, stopped that play for not much of a gain, and the reason is these guys have seen these plays. That's the flip side of, well, we only run a few things, but we run them really well. Eventually, the defense has seen them enough times, they start reacting quicker, and on the previous play, Burns did exactly that. Instead of penetrating and getting across the line of scrimmage, he sunk down to the inside and able to stop the play for about a 5 or 6 yard gain. So that's the flip side of that whole coin.
Alex Magdaleno in punt formation, standing deep in tandem safety. Lamar Keeble, and got a replacement for Jamario Smith, who's been injured. Very short kick inside the 35-yard line, right about the 32. Richard Burns back there along with Keeble. So Hawthorne will take over excellent field position once again. Let's call that the 33-yard line in Hawthorne, Hueneme territory. 34 seconds left to play in the third period. But it seems like to me, Dave, following that 11-yard punt off the foot of Magdaleno, that most of this quarter has been played in Hueneme territory.
It definitely has. The only thing that's bad for the Hawthorne Cougars is they haven't been able to capitalize on it and put any extra points on the football board.
Double tight end, double flanker, single back in the backfield, and he's got the football. Keeble with lots of running room, breaks the tackle, doesn't quite break that tackle. That's a fine tackle by Tamar Lee on the right side after that 8, perhaps 9-yard pickup by Keeble.
And I believe we've got a new player out there at that right defensive end position. I'm not sure on the number there. I don't think Victor Perez is still in the game, and I'm wondering about that breakdown. That was a very simple play. Basically just block down, give the ball to Keeble, and let him go.
Pickup of 8 sets up 2nd and 2. They probably won't get it off. They don't. We've come to the end of the third period of play from Hueneme High School. A look at the scoreboard at the end of 3 periods of play. Hueneme's Vikings 34, the Hawthorne Cougars 8. We'll be back for that 4th period coming up. Hawthorne has the football, 2nd and 2 yards to go from the Hueneme 26. Split back set. There's a counter dive play again. That's Andre Gaines. He's got the first down. Right about the 20-yard line, he'll be stopped. We'd like to take this opportunity. We want to remind you to stay tuned after the conclusion of this game as we announce the Jones Channel 6 Player of the Game, sponsored by Aswell Trophy. And for special awards, gifts, engraving, and screen printing, stop by Aswell Trophy at 235 North Oxnard Boulevard in Oxnard. Player of the game, looking forward to that. Lots of outstanding candidates here in this football game. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Split back set once again. Moala doing a great job in the second half. Very simple. Quick dive off the left side of Keeble inside the 5. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Quick hitter off the left side. 17 yards and 1st and goal set up for Hawthorne.
And that's been a big play for them this whole half, and I don't understand how the linebacker's being cut off. That should be a real simple read. My man comes, I fill the hole, and there's not enough blockers on that left side, that weak side of the offensive line, to get somebody on the backer, so he's got to be getting cut off, or he's reading something else, taking himself out of the play. Tough to see it from here.
We'll look for the counter dive again. There it is off the right side. That's Keeble near the goal line. No indication yet. He'll be short, right about the 2 perhaps, just inside the 2. We'll wait the spot of the football, but nothing fancy. You can almost sense when they go to that split back look, Dave, they're going counter dive one side or the other.
Yeah, and they tend to run it to the weak side of the formation, and that should be something that the backer is looking for by this point in the ball game. That time, and in fact, he did a good job of coming up. That's Victor Perez again from his linebacker position, filling the hole quite quickly. But it should be run over to this left side if anything indicates something from the pass that's happened.
Counter dive, quarterback key pitch to Keeble. I don't know about that one. On the play, Brad Gibbs. There's a loss of yards back near the 9-yard line. So they keep running counter dive, counter dive, counter dive. Then they pull that dive give and pitch to the trail back. But Gibbs right there to make the stop from that defensive end position.
And that's just good, solid defense. He doesn't lose his contain, keeps his outside leverage. Second time tonight we've seen him with his upper body strength just grabbing on, latching on, not going to make an arm tackle. He's getting a hold of some meat there and pulling that man down. That's good, solid football.
3rd and goal, we'll call it the 7-yard line. Strong to the right side of the formation. They split down to the pro look. Off the belly fake, throwing the ball towards the left flat. Catch is made by Keeble. He's near the end zone. Does he get in? No indication yet. He's short of the goal line, and he's still inbounds. Great effort by Lamar Keeble nonetheless. Tackle on the play by Leslie Lee. Keeble broke one tackle, had 2, perhaps 3 hanging on for dear life, but he stopped just short of the goal line.
Well, the lead back sneaks out of the formation while they fake to the remaining back. That gives him time to get out in the flat, and that's a good job by the Hueneme defense to not allow that guy to get in the end zone. And I know Watkins came up, Jesse Taylor, 34, had a big hit on him early but didn't wrap, and that's what happens with good backs.
4th and goal inside the 1-yard line. Split back set once again. 34-8 Hueneme. Stopped short of the goal line, I believe. I don't think he's in there. He's driven backwards. That's Lamar Keeble. Tremendous defensive play up front. In fact, make that Andre Gaines. Hueneme with a big-time defensive goal line stand.
You can almost sense that this is where they were going. You see that their other back had come up very, very tired, got up off the ground slowly, so they give to their big back Gaines. And there's Tatogi. You see Taylor there, Jesse there. See number 56. We've called his number a lot tonight, Victor Perez. Great job by the defensive unit to not allow the score.
Not only did they prevent Andre Gaines from getting into the end zone, it looks like he actually lost about a half yard. 1st and 10 Hueneme from their 1-yard line. 9:09 left to play in the 4th period. Hueneme on top 34-8 over Hawthorne. There's that double wing set once again. Quarterback keeper on that veer look. The veer keep by Gordy Pinedo across the 5 near the 8-yard line. He'll be stopped. Very tough kid, a kid who's learning on the on-the-job training Larry Miller talked about last week against Mainland High School, Daytona Beach, Florida. He said Gordy made a couple of mistakes by his own admission, but these are mistakes that later on, perhaps faced with the same situation in week number 7, he's not going to make that mistake.
No, and that's a tough learning position, quarterback. You got to know everything and read it on the run. He's doing a great job tonight.
2nd and 3 yards to go. Double wing set again. Long signal count. There's a quick hitter off the right side. Still on his feet. That might be Tamar Lee or perhaps Julian Gooden. We'll wait and see. No, that's Leslie Lee. He's got the first down across the 20-yard line. We'll ask the doctor to check Leslie Lee's totals. As we see the power eye look, the trail back, the eye back with the ball. That's Leslie Lee for the first down.
And he's a little guy, but he's dragging a lot of people behind him, Tom. Starting to worry about that fatigue factor. You know, this defensive unit for Hawthorne has been on this field a lot tonight.
12 carries Leslie Lee for 181 yards of rush offense. On first down, there's that wing set off the left. Quick hitter. Again, there's a quarterback keeper. The belly keep by Pinedo. Another fumble, perhaps. A scramble in the pile seems to indicate so. The indication by the official is, yes, that is a fumbled football. Hawthorne on top with a recovery.
And Gordy Pineda, he just tried to make too much happen here right at the end of the play. He's got to learn to cover up that football. He's carrying it in one hand. He gets turned completely around and sat down. And he's got a sense that when he's going anywhere toward the ground, he's got to cover up with both arms. He's still carrying that ball with one arm. As he gets shoved down to the ground, thing pops out of his arm. He'll learn as he goes along here, but that's good defense by Hawthorne.
As Yogi Berra would say, this is deja vu all over again. Hawthorne back in possession of the football in Hueneme territory. Hueneme's 30-yard line. Eye backfield set, tight end flanker right, split in left. Off play action, tight end pop over the middle. Moala to Moala. That's a catch and another first down, perhaps. Just inside the 20. They'll mark that at the 19. So that's a good call. Off that play action dive fake, big tight end pop over the middle.
I love this play, and almost in any offense it works because the run fake freezes the linebackers, and the safeties don't have enough time to react to it. You lay it right in there in that little seam in between the backers and the defensive backs, and if you got a good tight end that can run with the ball after the catch, you're off to the races.
Split back set on first and down, 18-yard line. First down, play action. In fact, they'll give that ball to Vamonroff or perhaps Keeble, number 31. Not getting off the mark with the explosiveness that he showcased earlier in this period. In fact, that was Vamonroff checking in for Keeble. Tackle on the play by Victor Perez.
Well, I think both Keeble and Vamonroff have had such big nights here and just having to bang it out that both of them are showing signs of fatigue, and even the big guy Gaines not running with nearly the pop that he had during the first half of play and definitely in the early part of the second half.
There's Dave Wheeler and some guy standing next to him. We saw the general, Joe Beltran. 2nd and 7 inside the 20-yard line. There's a belly give off the right side. Short pickup near the 15-yard line. Again, good defensive football. Vamonroff for the second consecutive time. He stopped by Miguel Ayala. One thing about Miguel Ayala, I know you'll appreciate this, Dave, of course, you have Cordell Stewart, who plays quarterback, of course, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They call him Slash. Miguel Ayala, they call him Slush. I guess he plays everything, anywhere. He'll do anything that Coach Miller says. They're very respectful of that. 3rd and 6 yards to go from the 15-yard line. I backfield set for Hawthorne. They give the ball to the tailback. Off the left side, Vamonroff near the 10-yard line, stacked up and driven backwards. Very close to the first down. I think he has to get inside the 10 to pick up that first down and move the chain. Down to 6:03 left to play in the 4th. Hueneme maintaining that 34-8 lead. It was 34-0 at halftime.
A good job of second effort here by Vamonroff, but look at these guys for the Vikings come up and just hammer him and stop him dead in his tracks. And it's going to be a real test here for Hawthorne. They come up short again on 4th and short and still have only that 8 up there. It's going to get harder and harder for them to mount any kind of momentum here as the clock starts winding down.
4th and 1, split back set. There's a counter give off the right side. That's a first down pickup by Gaines. Inside the 10 near the 8-yard line. Jose Ochoa with the stop for Hueneme. So that was a good conversion on 4th down. Hueneme in this half, 4 possessions. They've lost the ball 3 times on fumbles. They punted it 1 time for a net punt gain of 11 yards. Hawthorne's average start on their possessions in the second half has been the Hueneme 38-yard line. So those numbers don't bode well defensively when you have to basically defend a shortened field. First and goal from the 8-yard line. Hawthorne counter give off the left side of Vamonroff near the 5-yard line. One thing about the defensive presence of Hueneme, Dave Wheeler, the clock continuing to move down. We're near 5 minutes and counting in the 4th period, and it's still 34-8 Hueneme.
And Hueneme is very fortunate. As you mentioned, they've lost the ball 3 times, punted it once, and Hawthorne's had great field position. They're lucky they've only got 8 points scored on them, but that says a lot about the character of this defense. And I know as good as the offense looked in the first half, Coach would have liked to have had them come out and look that crisp in the second half. Well, you know what? They're learning still. But they're learning to win tonight, and that's great.
Double tight end, double flanker off the right side. Vamonroff sprint to the end zone. Does he get there? No indication. There it is. Touchdown, Hawthorne.
A lot of second effort there. A good tackle coming up. I see number 8 coming up off the bottom of that pile. And I believe number 17 for the Vikings. And that's Tamara Lee. We've talked about him all night tonight. He got over there and got in on some of that. And number 17 is Eric Watkins. And all these guys have played a great ball game tonight against a team that we thought was going to give them a lot more trouble than they have. They've only scored 2 touchdowns, and they've had a lot of opportunities. So hats off to the D tonight.
34-14. Hawthorne will once again disdain the Singleton extra point try. They'll go for 2 out of the full house look. Double tight end, full house backfield. They give the ball on the power look off the right side. That's Smith, I believe, or Mitchell, Billy Mitchell. He's going to be stacked up short. So on that 2-point conversion try, Hawthorne comes away unsuccessful. With 4:34 left to play in the 4th period, Hueneme 34, Hawthorne now with 14. Don't go away. Hueneme faithful, we expect the onside kick try by Hawthorne, trailing by 20 points with 4:34 left to play in the fourth. They played a very good second half, benefiting from outstanding field position. There's the onside kick try. Excellent onside kick. It's still in the air. I think Jesse Taylor finally comes down with that football right about the 43-yard line, but that's exactly what you want to see with that onside kick, Dave.
Yep, he put it right where they needed to be, and Hueneme did a great job with their hands group to come up with this ball. At least I think probably they had some hands people in there kind of expecting this. Able to reach back and get on that football.
Hawthorne scoring drive, a 7-play, 30-yard drive, took 3 minutes, 19 seconds to go 30 yards. That's good news for Hueneme. 6-yard touchdown run by Vamanroff. 2-point conversion try, no good. So good field position for the first time in the second half. Double wing set. Gordy Pinedo remains the quarterback. Tamar Lee in the short motion. He's got the ball running the sweep off the left side with a blocker in front. Ducks it back inside now, breaks back the outside across midfield to about the 48-yard line now in Hawthorne territory. So that's a pretty good run that time by Tamar Lee, setting up the block of Juan Batista, his pulling guard.
Big Batista out there did a good job. You just keep your motor running. Don't try to turn around, find out where the back's at. Let him read off of your block. And that's exactly what he did. He turned it up right after he saw which way the defender was going. And Batista was able to block actually 2 people out of the play.
Keep your motor running, the Steppenwolf fan. That's Dave Wheeler. Born to be wild. Double wing set on 2nd and 3 yards to go, just across midfield, 49-yard line in Hawthorne territory. They'll run the sweep play to Julian Gooden. Back to the right side. He's got the first down and more. 40-yard line, breaks a tackle, 35, still on his feet, 32. Julian Gooden, first down, Hueneme.
And the only bad thing about that is it's going to stop the clock, but what a great play. You saw those 2 big guards again. This is the trademark of this Hueneme sweep belly and trapping type of an offense where they have a lot of line move. Look at those guys coming at you. My goodness, 2 Mack trucks. They seal it off. Gooden breaks it back inside. Defense can't catch up to him till he's already got some great yardage downfield.
Dave, I don't think it's too much praise to say Tyrone Tatogi, perhaps, as we check Jason Austin along the sideline, perhaps one of the finest, if not the finest, pulling guard in Ventura County. I'm talking about ever. This guy's a great pulling guard.
He is, and he's a good student, too. You know, they ran a piece on him in one of the papers earlier in the year, and he's no dummy. I mean, this kid's going to go someplace. He's going to have a college career, and he's going to have some other type of career as he goes out. Football is not just the only factor in his life, but when he's out there on that football field, man, does he concentrate on it. He's a heck of a player.
And it was really nice to see Henry Otonero come up and say hi before the start of this football game. Of course, Henry has gone on to Moore Park Community College, and we will see him in that VC contest, Ventura College against Moore Park, a week from tomorrow. So that should be a good ball game. We're looking forward to that. On 2nd and 9 yards to go, the ball at the 35-yard line in Hawthorne territory. We've got some movement up front, lots of movement. Was Hawthorne in the neutral zone, or was it illegal procedures? I saw the split in off the left side for Hueneme, Garrett Levette with the early movement, but I don't know if that happened before encroachment had already occurred.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to tell, but it looks like they're going to mark it off against Hueneme.
Ball starts. 2nd down.
So you saw it the right way there, Coach.
After that 5-yard mark-off, ball spotted back across the 35 at the 36. Of course, Hueneme right now, they have plenty of points. This is one of these morale type of games, Dave, in the sense that everybody along that Hueneme sideline has been able to play in this ball game, and basically they played well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of substitutions, especially in the second half. We've seen a lot of people come in and play and get some quality time.
On 2nd and 15, there's Tamar Lee running off the left side. The sweep play, ducks it back inside. That was well defensed that time on the perimeter. Coming up to make the initial play was Kingsley Ekamandu, who's played a great game defensively for the Cougars. Did a real fine job turning that play back to the inside where help was there to bring Tamar Lee down.
And I think he actually got a hand in on the tackle, too. So Ekamandu, one of the bright spots for the Cougars out here tonight. He's had a heck of a ball game.
Hueneme 7 penalties for 73 yards, according to the good doctor. 2:15 and counting here in the 4th period. Big win, their initial win here in 1999 for Hueneme. They're looking for bigger and better things. They have a task at Arrow and Muir High School up next before they start league play in a few weeks against Camarillo. So lots of tough football coming up. We look forward to that.
The Camarillo should be, at least from what
Way
we
to
hear, one of the tougher teams in that Pacific View League, Tom. Looking forward to seeing the Scorpions down the road.
Larry Miller and his staff, we sing their praises, well deserved. We talk about their assistants, the offensive coordinator, Tony Pinedo, Steve Henry, the defensive coordinator, Lawrence Berkeley, John Dolman, Joe Knopf, Chuck Bowling, Clint Strozier, Dave Lout, and Teloy Tuitama. Teloy's son, Teloy Jr., wrestling at Moore Park Community College, doing a great job. Off play action, looking to pass Pinedo, throws the ball downfield. He's got a receiver out there, that's good. In and out of his hands inside the 10-yard line. Nice throw by Pinedo, completion almost made to Julian Gooden.
Great coverage by Richard Burns, but man, did he lead him nicely. Great job. Also, look at the backside blocking by Batista.